And believe it or not, more election results are coming in. Will Republicans pick up more House seats?
And it's Friday, which means Fridays with Beamer. It all gets underway at 5 a.m. We hope to see you then. Yeah. I laughed, I cried.
Five o'clock is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Thursday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, Kamala Harris concedes the presidential race and a Fed cut rate decision is coming. We'll have details. First, traffic and weather together.
Hello, everybody.
Good morning,
Camper,
everybody.
How are you? Travis, how are you? Sam? Rooster?
Rooster sent me a Throwback Thursday photo via email. In fact, I can show it to you, Mr. T. I can show it to everybody. I often talk about when I was a kid, my favorite stewardess uniform was Southwest Airlines. For some reason, I can't go full screen.
Good morning, Rock.
Steve DeRocco, The Rock, he'll remember this. But yeah, this is, and I can't go full screen, so I'm going to have to scroll down. It's a Southwest Airlines.
Back when it was good.
But if I scroll down, they did, look at these go-go boots.
I know.
She's wearing.
I love those, man.
Is that amazing?
It is amazing.
So, thank you, Rooster.
Thank you, Rooster.
Rooster, a throwback. This is when, before they were flight attendants, they were steward-eye. And that was an orange outfit. That's a black and white photo, of course. But as a growing young boy in the 1970s, I enjoyed those uniforms.
Yes, we all enjoyed those uniforms, Chris. They were beautiful. I know.
You have go-go boots.
Okay, what the hell's going on here? Okay. Good morning, Tim.
We're
I know.
Neanderthal free.
I know. It's a great day.
There's a new director.
Obviously a new director. Wow. Okay. Morning, Sika.
Steve DeRocco, Sika Pollen, Sam Tobias, Jacob C. Hernandez, Day 13 for Steve DeRocco.
Well, it's hour 13 for us, Chris.
I have not drank. I have not
almost
drank
12 hours.
7 o'clock last night. I have gone 10 hours.
10 hours. Hour number 11.
Without drinking.
Yeah.
But I told Mr. T, Friday night at 10 p.m., I'm stopping.
We're cutting you off.
Cut me off.
Oh,
Travis, Jacob, Kemper, Tracy Bogert in the Witness Protection Program.
yeah, I think college was the right choice, Kemper. You would have been a great flight attendant. We used to call them stewardesses, though. Why 10 p.m.? Rock wants to know.
Because 7 days later at 10 p.m., Steve DeRocco,
I am a retreat.
I am doing a retreat in Von Ormy, Texas. And I'm going to take 7 full days from 10 p.m. Friday to 10 p.m. the next Friday night to cleanse myself. And I'm going to go on my longest fast. I normally fast beginning on Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? I normally go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I'm going to start the fast on Tuesday. So instead of 3 days, well, and actually I go into Saturday. I go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, end it on Saturday, which is 4 days. So I'm going to start it on Tuesday, end it on Saturday. So go a little over 4 days. Yep. Thank you, Sickapolin. Actually, Sickapolin, there's another cleanse that I'm going to do, like a hardcore, and I won't get too graphic, but later in November, it's herbal. Yeah.
Leave it. Bastards.
Yeah. Sickapolin doesn't want too much information about my cleanse, but no, I'm going to do like an herbal cleanse.
Oh, an herbal this time.
But not this. No, I'm going to do it like later in November.
Oh, okay.
And I'll only say this once because it is too much information, but I am told about this cleanse that you spend about 6 hours in the bathroom. It says it takes a day, and it says 6 hours of that day, you're probably not leaving the bathroom.
Yeah.
Too much information.
That is too much information.
You're welcome, Sickapolin.
Yeah. Way to go.
And apparently you lose about 7 pounds.
Really?
Apparently there's like gunk.
So that's like a pound an hour.
There's like gunk in your body.
Oh, yeah.
And this supposedly gets, apparently this works on the liver, the intestines, the colon, everything.
So what, you're out of colon blow cereal?
I need some more colon blow. And that's right, kids. Colon Blow was a cereal, and there was a commercial for Colon Blow. I'll never forget when...
it does sound like colonoscopy prep, Kemper.
Colin Powell was a spokesperson for Colon Blow.
Colon Blow cereal, everybody.
Hey, everybody, I'm Colin Powell. I'm General Colin Powell for Colon Blow.
And they should have got Steve DeRocco to endorse the Quarry cereal.
That's right. The Rock, the Quarry. Well, some people call him The Rock at La Cantera. When he shops at La Cantera, he is The Rock at La Cantera.
Oh,
I
hell
think I
yeah.
have a photo. I saw that on my time hop the other day. God, I hope it's still there. If the new day rolled in already, I'm not going to have it.
Damn it.
But I saw it yesterday. Oh, wow. I don't have it because yesterday, but wait till you see what I got. So I got this app. It's called Time Hop.
Right.
And are you familiar with it? It aggregates.
Well, it aggravates too sometimes.
But all right, so 1 year ago today on my phone.
Yeah.
You'll appreciate this.
Oh my God. Maybe I'll grow it back. It does look good.
It's a good. We should bring this one back.
Look, and Charity's got a hat on too. I love the dancing guy.
Look at this.
I love that.
Look at that beard on Mr. T. I got to go on my Mount Rushmore of yacht rock. Michael McDonald, Charity doesn't like him. Take that, Charity. And she's got the hat. Look at that.
I know. Let's put that up on Tuesday. Is there any way to save it?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to save it and send it to you guys right now. Well, in fact, we don't date it. We can do the same one.
That's what I'm saying. Let's do it on Tuesday. Let's put it on Tuesday. Because Yacht Rock Tuesday is coming back.
It was 1 year ago today that we did it.
Wow.
So,
wow. Shocking.
Let's see if that can. I'll send it to you guys right now. If it
That's great.
It did download. Funny. So anyway, I'll have to find.
That is a beard.
Somewhere in my archives, I've got The Rock at La Cantera.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sending this to the group.
So Andrew wasn't here yet.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, he will be seeing that for the first time.
That's great. That is great, Chris. I mean, great.
Thank you very much.
Damn.
Okay, so Christmas, 48 days away. So New Year's would be 7 days after that,
Yeah,
right?
so 55.
55. So I'm trying to get to Inauguration Day. So another 20 would be 75.
So 75 days.
75
All right,
days.
I'll add it tomorrow.
I'll do it right now. 75
I'll add it
days
tomorrow
until
till inauguration.
the Trump inauguration.
Yeah, cool. And I'll add it tomorrow. That way it'll be on there forever, or at least till January 20th.
Yeah, Tim, I guess you could say I am full of it. Thank you. But that's going to change after my cleanse. Do you want me to shoot some video during my 6 hours?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Sam,
I
check
could live
this
stream
out,
that.
Sam. Check this out. Here we go, Chris.
Okay. Oh, funny. Funny. Who? Welcome into this beautiful day, Thursday, November 7th, 2024. 21 days until Thanksgiving. Can you believe it? 48 days until Christmas, 75 days until the second inauguration of Donald J. Trump, and 225 days until Mr. T and I celebrate the first day of summer, 2025. Charity McCurdy, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well on this Friday Eve. I'm really hanging on to that fact, too. We just have one more day to go.
That's right.
Endless work week. It's been wild. I've been getting the normal amount of sleep. I don't know about you guys, other than election night. That was the only really sleep impact. But I think I'm just like emotionally exhausted. It's been a whirlwind of emotions, not knowing how the election was going to turn out, and just trying to stay off of social media as much as I can, but that's hard.
Yeah, mentally exhausting is a good way to put it too. Because I was preparing myself to go through the week not knowing who our next president was, and then being shocked by the details coming in that night. I'm a little mentally exhausted. I'm a little fried.
And I still thought, here we are on Thursday. I thought with Thursday morning, we'd still be saying the electoral count is 257 to 252, and
It's
we're
our
still
fault
waiting
for listening to the pollsters.
Yeah. So,
Never again.
Never. I don't believe them at all.
yeah, pollsters, you got a little work to do. And you got some splaining to do, as Ricky Ricardo would say. Right now, though, we're going to bring you a little traffic and weather together.
Showers early, becoming less numerous later today, highs in the mid-80s. Tomorrow, showers early, mostly cloudy, and later on in the afternoon, highs in the low 80s. Saturday, sunshine and clouds mixed, highs in the upper 70s. 68 degrees at Lackland Air Force Base, 68 at Fort Sam Houston, and 65 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 512.
Good morning, folks. Mo here. I'm not going to brag. I'm not going to gloat. I'm not going to rub it in my friend or family faces. I'm too old for that now. What I am going to do, though, is I am going to enjoy, hopefully, that everything goes back down to a little bit more acceptable prices. Because before we lost Trump and got this empty seat in office, we were living fine. We weren't living lavishly. We were just comfortable and happy with the way we were, where I ended up having to get a second job once this empty seat took over.
Still getting a lot of reaction to Donald Trump's resounding re-election, second election. He goes from 45 to 47, the 47th president of the United States for now, President-elect Donald Trump. And Charity, a lot of people still processing what happened just a little over 24 hours ago.
Yeah. For those on the left, they're devastated. I think there's a big concern about what the nation will look like under President-elect Trump. And for those on the right, they can't wait. They're already talking potential Trump cabinet appointments. They're talking about actions taken by Trump on the first day in office, among them drill, baby drill, and of course border security is top of mind as well.
Yeah, that's it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And I would say in this first 100 days, there's a lot that's going to happen. And they always talk about the presidency. Your first 100 days is very important. I think Donald Trump's already preparing his first 100 days, and it might as well just start now.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk about Project 2025, and Donald Trump distanced himself from it for the most part on the campaign. But I'm hearing, and there's reporting by Rolling Stone, that there's a lot of Republicans who want most of Project 2025 to be implemented. And it is a blueprint for the Trump administration to hit the ground running on day one.
And of course, for women, the big concern is reproductive health care. That was a driving issue for the Kamala Harris campaign. And, Project 2025, there's a lot of concern about the rollback and as far as what women are going to be able to do if they need doctors to medically intervene in the case that they're having a miscarriage. And doctors' hands are essentially tied because they have to wait until that fetus no longer has a heartbeat, which risks the mother's life. So that's going to be a big concern moving forward.
Lots to talk about all morning long. Randy Beamer will join us a little bit later this morning, as will Charlie Parker. We'll tell you what's coming up. Oh, and we've got a question for you. Some, 30 hours after we learned the results of this election. WOAI News Time, 5:15.
We're back.
Hey, everybody. Sonny Melendrez from Magic 105.
By the way, Rooster, if you lost 4 friends over this election, can I just say to you that those were not your friends? Yeah, see, Travis, you beat me to it. Sorry, buddy. I didn't see your comments there.
What do you say?
He says, if they can't handle that, then they weren't friends. They weren't your friends, which is right.
I'm sure most of us, I've got, just like family, I've got Trump friends. I've got far left friends. In the words of, God, I'm forgetting his name. Rodney King. In the words of Rodney King, can't we all just get along? Yeah. God, how can I forget? I was in LA when the LA riots happened.
Oh, were you there?
Oh my God.
Did you participate?
I did not participate,
Okay,
but
did you watch?
I almost got killed on Skid Row the night before.
I was going to ask if you got any. Wow.
Yeah. No, and what was so weird, I was at Venice Beach staying at my sister's place, and they sent out the National Guard. So we come out to the beach the morning after the first night of the riots, and there are armed with M16s National Guardsmen. And what struck me about it was the first time I was in a situation like that. They were all so young.
Yeah.
They were all they looked 17.
Scary.
They were 18 to 23.
And
just standing there.
And they're probably freaking out.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's Venice Beach.
Yeah.
So there's lots of freaks like going up to them. Hey man, why are you here?
Peace, man. Yeah.
Were you gonna shoot me now? It's like, dude, don't tempt fate.
I know.
Memo?
Yes.
Memo?
Yes.
Neanderthal free? Now, I hate to say that because the Neanderthal are my people.
Still, Chris, you got to be honest with your people.
By the way, I watched a little more. You got to watch Ancient Apocalypse.
Yeah, that's what you're
the
saying.
Americas.
Yeah.
And like for the third straight episode, Graham Hancock talking about the influence of ayahuasca.
Wow.
On these archaeological buildings, not only in South America, but in Utah and in New Mexico.
Sam, I hope you're listening. Stand by, Chris. Just for you, Sam.
Thank you.
I know.
We've had a full day to digest the results, at least on the presidential side of this election. We've got a question for you about that coming up. But first, Charity, what stories are you following?
After Vice President Kamala Harris's concession speech yesterday, President Biden has an election-related speech planned for today. The race for control of the House of Representatives is still undecided, and Texas voter turnout dropped from the 2020 election despite record registration. We'll have more right now, traffic and weather.
Showers early, becoming less numerous later today. Highs in the mid 80s. Tomorrow, showers early, mostly cloudy. Later in the day, highs in low 80s. Saturday, a mixture of sun and clouds. Highs in the upper 70s. 68 degrees in Alamo Ranch. 68 at the Pearl and 65 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time 520.
San Antonio's First News, our full team coverage of the aftermath, for the most part, of election 2024 rolls on. Of course, there are House seats still to be decided. Not all election results are finalized, certainly. But we've had roughly 28 hours since Donald Trump took the stage at Mar-a-Lago to begin his victory speech. So we've had about 28 hours to digest it. And Charity, we have a question for the people.
Yeah, we just want to know, how are you feeling? How are you feeling since the election? Have you fully processed it? What are your friends on the opposite side of the table are saying? Just one overall general reaction. And we want you to use our Talkback feature on the free iHeart Radio app. You just search 1200 WOAI and hit that red Talkback circle to sound off.
They're already coming in, guys. Here's our first one of today.
Good morning, Charity, Mr. T, and Chris. This is Bulletproof from San Antonio. I'm waiting to see if all those celebrities who said they were going to leave the country when Trump got reelected, if they'll do it this time. Have a great day.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Billy Baldwin and the Baldwin brothers. When George W. was elected, they were all going to leave the country. And how many years ago was that? So
Didn't it seem like we had like a record amount of celebrities endorse candidates this year,
Yeah.
especially for Kamala Harris, and especially the whole Taylor Swift factor? That didn't exactly pan out.
yeah, think about that. Taylor Swift,
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen, Beyonce.
Willie Nelson.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, yeah, you thought that we were really thought that the Taylor Swift, the Swifties would come out in big numbers. That didn't happen.
They registered to vote.
Well, but
they got that far.
there's the other parts that you got to do after you
Yeah.
register. You actually have to, go vote.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, let us know on the free iHeartRadio app. You've had 28 hours plus to digest this. And speaking of, what are your friends who might be on the other side of the fence saying, Charity? We see in the YouTube chat, by the way, we are on YouTube. We want to thank Andrew Zimmel for directing and producing our YouTube. Go to YouTube, look for 1200 WOAI. You can watch this live. Come for the chopped liver. Stay for the eye candy. Of course, the eye candy is Charity McCurdy, and a little later, Randy Beamer. It's
Yes.
a double eye candy Thursday.
Oh,
on
you
the
don't get that
YouTube
every
screen.
day. Yeah.
Yes. And we'll try to even get a split screen where it's just Charity and Randy
Oh
Beamer.
no.
In fact, but Mr. T and I will just tune in for that. And
We'll just sit here and watch. Yeah.
We'll just watch.
Yeah,
watch
because
the-
Rooster's losing friends over this election. So,
Yes.
I wonder how many other people are.
On YouTube, Rooster said he's lost 2 friends over this election.
Wow. It's tough. A lot of emotions are invested in this. And I just look at on social media, my news feed, I hear people announcing I have unfriended so many people over this election. And, if you are not morally aligned with me, we can't be Facebook friends or friends in real life. I mean, it's pretty heavy.
Yeah, I've seen some people, Mr. T, even saying they're thinking about moving to Canada.
Yeah.
Unhappy with the election results? Ready to ditch America once and for all? Introducing Canada, home to the NBA, Major League Baseball, and even our own version of the NFL. No penalties because everyone's so polite. Canada, where you can also find syrup, snowshoes, hot cocoa, toboggans. Oh, man. Little to no eye contact. Risk aversion. Canada. Not so much a country as it is a nap with a flag.
Yeah, I think I'll stay out of Canada, Charity McCurdy.
It's a nap with a flag.
And it gets pretty cold up there. So
Yeah.
I think you could handle it, guys.
No, we couldn't.
Yeah.
If we ever declare war on Canada, it will be called Operation Leaf Blower. It's Operation Leaf Blower. We're sick and tired of these Canadians and their manners, their politeness.
Look, the best thing that came out of Canada was Rush. So
Yeah.
let's just go with that.
There you go. I'll go with that. All right. So your talkback's coming up. Lots more full team coverage as we continue with the aftermath. For the most part of this, not totally over, but much of it is this 2024 election. In the next half hour, White House correspondent John Decker, your reaction, our reaction as well. Charity with everything you need to know on this Thursday morning. Coming up at the bottom of the hour. Right now, your Fox Business Report, WOAI News Time 525.
We're back.
Hey, everybody.
Good morning,
Johnny Chingus, Tim,
Frankie.
Frankie goes to Hollywood, sick of pollen.
Relax, Frankie.
Travis.
Relax.
Tracy Bogert in the Witness Protection Program. Sam, Steve Duraco, The Rock at Lock and
And
Tara.
Kemper.
Kemper, everybody. See if I can find my Rocket Lock and Tara photo.
Oh, that's awesome, Frankie. Very cool. Yeah, Kemper, it's a beautiful place, but it is way too cold.
Yeah. When it is north of North Dakota, that's too damn north. Yes.
Yeah, I can't do that. You know, it's even cold in the summertime, I hear.
Yeah. There it is.
Oh, it's the Rock at the Rock?
Yeah, look.
The Rock at La Cantera?
The Rock at La Cantera. Photographic evidence. The Rock at La Cantera.
That is funny.
Yes. And look at this one. The with The Rock and a special radio guest.
Oh, wow.
Walter Pasacreta.
Yeah. Wow.
We went to a Jets game. It was Jets Cowboys, I think.
Okay.
At a sports bar.
And you run into Wally P. Go figure.
Who was obviously pulling for the Jets. The Rock and Walter Pasacreta.
Wally P.
And that was shortly after his heart issue where he lost all that weight.
Yeah. I've had some good times with Walter. Morning, Connie.
Connie, good morning. I still owe you those photos. So maybe today, if I remember, when I'm not on the air. Charity McCurdy coming up with all the news you need to know.
And more.
So I'm assuming you'll play a little
yes.
Kamala Harris coming back here?
See.
Okay.
See, signor. Wait, right there. Sorry. Hang on. Okay. And we're back. And I'll give you, it was a good speech. It was.
Especially at the end when it's dark, in moments of darkness, you can see the stars.
Yeah.
It was a good speech. Hey, it's a 14-year-old on his way to high school.
Middle school, Chris.
Brooks Singman.
Sing man. All right, here comes Charity, everybody.
.30 is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Thursday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, President Biden is planning to address the nation today following Tuesday's election, and the Justice Department is winding down cases against President-elect Donald Trump. We'll have details. First, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes and mornings. Your weather forecast for this Thursday: showers this morning, tapering off for the afternoon, a high near 84, slight chance of rain tonight, a low near 70, right now 71 degrees. Former President Trump has won the presidential election and now has become president-elect. Vice President Kamala Harris delivered a concession speech from Howard University in D.C. yesterday, calling for unity.
In our nation, we owe loyalty not to a president or a party, but to the Constitution of the United States.
Harris says that she called now President-elect Trump to congratulate him and discuss the importance of a peaceful transfer of power and being a president for all Americans. President Biden, meantime, will address the election results when he speaks to the nation later this morning. Here's Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
The speech comes just a day after Vice President Kamala Harris officially conceded to President-elect Trump by phone and during a concession speech at Howard University. The White House says President Biden spoke to both candidates and congratulated them on their races. President-elect Trump was also invited to meet with the commander-in-chief at the White House. According to the White House, the president expressed his, quote, commitment to ensuring a smooth transition and emphasized the importance of working to bring the country together. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
The Justice Department is looking at how to wind down 2 criminal cases against Donald Trump now that he's been reelected to the White House. Here's Laura Jarrett with more.
Both federal cases mired in appeals and delays for months, with no trials on the horizon, as Mr. Trump has vowed to fire the top prosecutor in charge, Special Counsel Jack Smith.
The case is centered around his actions leading up to the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot and his handling of classified documents. The Trump camp is also looking at how to get rid of state criminal cases against him in New York and Georgia. Trump is the first person with felony convictions elected to the White House after he was found guilty on 34 counts of falsifying business records in a New York hush money case this past spring. Sentencing in that case is currently scheduled for November 26. We still don't know if Democrats or Republicans are going to be in control of the U.S. House. Here's Fox's Jill Nato with more.
AP says getting the final tallies on several hard-fought House races from New York to California could still be days away. We do know 2 races in Virginia have been decided, but neither party gained any ground because of them. Republican Representative Jen Kiggins won re-election in southeastern Virginia, while Democrat Eugene Vindman won a seat in the northern part of the state. Vindman and his brother Alexander played roles in President-elect Trump's first impeachment. House Speaker Mike Johnson's been saying he's optimistic the House will stay in GOP control. Jill Nato, Fox News.
And Democrats may be worried that their dominance in South Texas politics may be coming to an end. Former President Trump won every border county from the Gulf of Mexico to the eastern side of the Big Bend region on Tuesday, including traditionally Democratic Cameron County. Democrats held on to the 2 congressional seats currently held by Vicente Gonzalez and Henry Cuellar, but saw a Republican win the District 27 state Senate seat for the first time. Analysts say Democrats need to figure out a way to reach South Texas voters concerned with illegal immigration, inflation, and the economy. And President-elect Trump is under pressure from his own party to act quickly to secure the southern border. Beth Myers has more.
Some hardline Republicans want Trump to close the border on day one. But David Stout with the Texas Border Coalition says that would be a mistake.
The cavalier talk of closing the border puts in jeopardy the progress that has been made.
He says Texas's strategy of walls and fencing hasn't worked. Migrants are still coming in large numbers. While campaigning, Trump promised mass deportations of illegal immigrants. But there are both legal and logistical questions about how that would be accomplished. I'm Beth Myers, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
San Antonio City Councilman Mark White's DWI case is reduced to a non-DWI charge by a plea deal. Yesterday, during a court appearance, White pleaded no contest to obstruction of a highway in order to receive deferred adjudication. He avoids conviction if he completes 6 months of probation, which includes no alcoholic beverages. He was also given 48 hours of community service and required to pay a fine and court costs plus other conditions. It is 5:37 now with breaking crime news from around the country. Here's Nancy Grace. Traffic and weather together in a minute. But first, to check of your money in the world of business, we say good morning to Courtney Donahoe live at the Bloomberg News Desk. Thanks, Courtney. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Traffic and weather coming up.
San Antonio's first news as we continue to cover the 2024 election, as a number of results yet to come in. But the big one, of course, came in early on election night, and that is the victory for former president, as Charity mentioned, now President-elect Donald Trump. And we were wondering yesterday, when will Kamala Harris give her concession speech? Thought maybe it would happen during this program yesterday. Happened at about 3:30 yesterday. Here's a few words from Vice President Kamala Harris.
While I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign.
I watched the speech, and by the end of the speech, I give her, it was about a 12-minute speech. She talked about when it becomes dark, when the time is dark, the stars come out, and she would like to see 1 billion stars in the sky. She got kind of poetic, and I would say it was a very, very good concession speech, although you heard a little part there, a little bit defiant as well.
Yeah, and I think she made an important statement when she acknowledged that the range of emotions a lot of people are feeling and experiencing right now, but she called on her supporters to accept the results of this election, which I think is a very important statement to make. And it was good to know that she had a phone call with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory.
To be a fly on the wall to hear that conversation, that one and the one with President Biden, I would love to just, what should they make those public to us?
They should, because I think right at the end of the call, when we're about to hang up, I think Donald Trump said, and Kamala, one more thing. You're fired. Do you think he said that, Charity? You're fired.
I think he said Kamala.
Oh, that's true. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
What is that? You're fired.
I would love to hear
I wouldn't rule it out.
Yeah.
You know?
But shouldn't they make those available to the American people? I mean, you are working for us.
It's history,
Yes.
taxpayer dollars. Charity, can you work on that?
I'll do my best. Yeah.
Thank you. That's all we can ask.
Now,
is for
so
you to do your
now
best.
there's going to be, as Charity is reporting, a Joe Biden address to the nation.
Yes.
What are we expecting, and when are we expecting it?
Later this morning at some point, and which is a nice change up considering Vice President Harris waited until like it was 3:30 our time, I think, before
Yes.
she made that concession speech. But I think we're going to hear more of the same about how the country needs to come together and that he will help facilitate a peaceful transfer of power and help Trump and his team with their transition.
And the country does need to come together. I am all for that. And I think now that, people are happy with the choice of Donald Trump, maybe we can come together.
Well, and Mr. T, you brought up something yesterday that if Biden did this today, we don't think he will, of course.
He should, though.
But if he did, to help bring the country together, if he said, you know what, as president, I want to do everything I can to bring the country together. Right now, at this moment, give a full and complete pardon to Donald J. Trump for anything he is currently accused of legally. I think it would make great sense, and it would be a great show of
Solidarity,
I believe
yes.
solidarity, patriotism, and how better can Donald Trump have an opportunity to lead this country forward from a Joe Biden perspective? If Joe Biden would say, you've got to do the work of the American people, let's just remove all of these legal obstacles.
And with President-elect Trump going to be in charge of the Justice Department, it's widely believed these cases would go away anyway.
yeah.
So it would look better for President Biden to make the move first in a show of
Agreed.
unity.
Yeah, he's the bigger man if he does that, right?
Yes.
If he comes up, it makes him look good. And like you said, Chris, brings the country together. And we need something like that.
And, if you remember when Biden was elected, and even when he was running in 2020, he said, I'm a unifier, not a divider.
There
And
you
we
go.
didn't see a whole lot of that in office, trying to reach over. And, he got some bipartisan legislation passed that he signed, but you want to be a unifier on the way out the door. And Mr. T, I give you credit. It's a great idea. Don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But,
Sorry,
if it
but
did,
yeah.
though, you get the credit on that if it happens. We will keep an eye on if we get an update on when that address by Joe Biden will occur. Perhaps this morning, we'll let you know as soon as that develops. Coming up, are we doing flashback yet?
No.
Or we're not. We're still
No.
blowing that out.
Yes.
For election coverage, more. Oh, and we're going to hear more from you coming right up. Your reaction, some 28 hours after Donald Trump's victory speech. WOAI News Time, 5:45. Your talkbacks coming right up. How do you feel that you've had more than 28 hours to digest the major election results? First, Charity McCurdy, what stories are you tracking?
President Biden will address the nation at 10 o'clock this morning about Donald Trump's victory in Tuesday's election. President-elect Trump, meantime, is reportedly busy making his cabinet selections. And the race for control of the House of Representatives is still undecided, but Republicans are expressing confidence. We'll have the latest right now, traffic and weather.
Showers this morning becoming less numerous later today. Highs in the mid 80s. Tomorrow, showers early, mostly cloudy later in the day. Highs in the low 80s. Saturday, a mixture of clouds and sun. Highs in the upper 70s. It is 68 degrees in Monte Vista, 68 in Leon Valley, and 65 right here in Stone Oak. WOEI News Time, it's 5:51.
San Antonio's First News, continuing to cover the results of the 2024 election. That's Mr. T, Tim Merriman. She's Charity McCurdy. A little bit later this morning, Charlie Parker will be in studio, as will Randy Beamer. In fact, Randy Beamer coming in around 7 o'clock this morning. Randy will be with us from 7 to 9. He, as well, a big part of our election 2024 coverage. And you know who else is? You, our listeners. We've been asking you every step of the way your thoughts, your analysis, your feelings. And we're doing that again this morning on the free iHeartRadio app. Charity, we're asking people that they've had more than 24 hours to digest these results, certainly for the presidency. How do they get us that information?
The absolutely free iHeartRadio app. Launch it, search 1200 WOAI, look for that red circle at the top right-hand corner of your screen. Once you hit it, 30 seconds to sound off. And if you get it wrong or you have more to say, do it again.
That's right. You can retake.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here's just a few.
Good morning, WOAI. This is Colin in Kyle, Texas. Donald Trump has achieved the greatest political comeback in world history. He has done what politicians have dreamed of, fighting the system and winning. He is by far the only person that has ever done it and lived to tell the tale.
Good morning, San Antonio. This is Jeff. I didn't pay any attention yesterday because I don't need the anxiety. But I woke up this morning, turned on the iHeart app, and was very pleasantly surprised. Keep up the good work.
Good morning, WOAI. Josh in Canyon Lake. I could not be happier for this outcome on the election. Absolutely historic. I'm so excited. I can barely contain myself. I can tell people just at the gas station, there's a different vibe in the air. My only regret is that Rush Limbaugh wasn't around to see this. He would have some words to say, I'm sure. But y'all take care.
All right, that was Colin, Jeff, and Josh. And Charity, what Colin said, he really crystallized it, the fact that Donald Trump fought the system and won. I mean, that's in any country, and certainly as well in the United States of America, when the system is opposing you, and I think we could certainly argue that. You've seen the multiple impeachments when he was in office. You've seen all of the court proceedings that he's gone through in the last several months. And here he is now about to reassume the role of the most powerful man in the world. I would agree with what Colin just said. It is the greatest political comeback, not only in United States history, in world history.
It really is. And when you think about just the amount of campaigning he did, it was exhausting. Towards the end there, I think it was like at least 5 events in one day. And I think for most people who supported the former president, it came down to, did they have more money in their pocket during the Trump administration? And it was a resounding yes. And I think it came down to the economy, those top issues, the economy and border security, their own personal safety. And I think that's ultimately what pushed him over the top.
Yeah, that and the economy. We've talked about it. I don't know how long we kept talking about that, Chris. That It's the economy, it's immigration, it's just the overall welfare of this country. And now it looks like there's going to be a change.
The last 200 days, I've quoted James Carville.
Yes.
It's the economy, stupid. I've said it probably 40 times this year as we ramped up to the election. It's true, as you just said as well. Border security, huge. And the stunner, to me, Charity, we talked about it a lot. Women with the aftermath of the Roe versus Wade being overturned, because you looked at that 2022 election and the red wave that did not happen, and you thought, this is what's going on. Roe versus Wade has kind of raised the ire of a lot of women and supporters of those women in this country. But that certainly did not manifest on Tuesday night.
It did not, but I think reproductive health is going to be a big concern moving forward. And I think there's a lot of hope and concern that President-elect Trump will clarify his stance on that and hopefully allow women to have the life-saving health care they need. Because right now, a lot of doctors, especially in those states like Texas that have near bans on abortion, are afraid to provide medical care because they're worried that they're going to end up getting in trouble and being jailed as a result. So I don't think that's going away.
And speaking of healthcare, I'm concerned if Donald Trump does make RFK Jr. in charge of our health systems. What's going to happen? Because he's an anti-vaxxer. We're not going to be able to get a vaccine if we want one.
No more flu shots.
No more flu shots. No more COVID. Is it going to change that much?
I don't think so.
I don't think he can, right?
Right. And I wonder, right now they're buds,
Sure.
RFK Jr. and Donald Trump. But as we saw in the first Trump administration, if you cross Trump, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is pretty bullheaded as well. A lot of those appointees wound up leaving or wound up getting fired by Donald Trump. I'm just wondering, Charity, how long the relationship, and apparently RFK Jr. is going to be at the very least some kind of a health czar early on in the Trump administration. I'm just wondering how long he's going to last.
That seems like it could be a potentially rocky relationship, but we'll see. It seems like RFK Jr. desperately wanted a job within the Trump administration, and I think he knows who he's dealing with.
Yeah, that is true.
All right, we got a whole lot coming at you, some amazing analysts and guests in the next hour. White House correspondent and attorney, he's a member of the Supreme Court Bar, John Decker, on the latest in these results from the 2024 election. A little bit later, Randy Beamer, Charlie Parker, and more. WOAI News Time 558.
Six o'clock is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Thursday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, Kamala Harris concedes the presidential race and a Fed cut rate decision is coming today. We'll have the details. First, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your weather forecast for this Thursday. Some showers this morning, tapering off this afternoon. A high near 84. Slight chance of rain tonight. A low near 70. Right now, 71 degrees. Vice President Kamala Harris's concession speech included a call to action. Tanya J. Powers reports.
Standing on stage in front of the historic Frederick Douglass Memorial Hall on the Howard University campus, Vice President Kamala Harris talked about what she said during her concession call to President-elect Donald Trump.
I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power.
While she conceded, she said she intended to continue the fight that fueled her campaign, telling supporters, quote, "It's not time to throw up our hands, it's time to roll up our sleeves." At Howard University, Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
And the White House's President Biden will address the nation at 10 o'clock this morning. Biden spoke with Trump yesterday and congratulated him on his victory. He also invited Trump to the White House to talk about a smooth transition of power. And the race for control of the House of Representatives is still undecided, but Republicans are expressing confidence they'll take control once all the votes are counted. The GOP needs 12 more seats to keep control. The Democrats need 22 more to flip it, but political analysts say that seems unlikely. If the GOP keeps control, it would give Republicans control of both houses of Congress and the White House following Donald Trump's victory. And President-elect Trump has some decisions to make about who will join his cabinet. Fox's Aisha Hazani has details on who could be on the short list.
President-elect Trump is now hiring. He will first need to find a chief of staff and also make some pretty important cabinet secretary positions and picks. He has previously talked about RFK Jr. and letting him, quote, go wild on healthcare. He's spoken about giving Elon Musk a Department of Government Efficiency department to rein in the government, and also Trump's campaign manager, Susie Wiles. Her name has been tossed around D.C. circles as a potential chief of staff, but nothing has been announced just yet. We got a new statement from his transition team, which reads in part, in the days and weeks ahead, President Trump will be selecting personnel to serve our nation under his leadership and enact policies that make the life of Americans affordable, safe, and secure.
And Senate Republicans reportedly plan to hold confirmation hearings at the beginning of the new year to help President-elect hit the ground running as soon as he's inaugurated. State officials say voter turnout in Texas for the election fell short of the numbers for 2020. There are nearly 19 million registered voters in Texas, more than ever before. Just over 11 million voted this time around for a turnout of 61%. That's about 6% below the turnout 4 years ago. Democrats were particularly disappointed by the turnout in the state's populous blue counties, such as Bexar, Harris, and Dallas. Bexar County's voter turnout was around 58%. And the election may be over, but many streets remain littered with campaign signs. In San Antonio, some groups are collecting them.
We have some marvelous teachers, art teachers, that if the signs aren't picked up, the art teachers go.
And Bexar County Elections Coordinator Jackie Callanan says they really want the signs down. Some are obscuring the vision of drivers, which is dangerous. She's calling on the campaigns to get to work and tear down those signs, which have to go in the trash cans. They can't be recycled. Well, this afternoon, the Federal Reserve will announce its decision on interest rates. Here's Fox's Hillary Barsky.
The central bank is expected to slash its benchmark interest rate by a 0.25 percentage point as inflation continues to make progress toward their 2% goal. The bigger question remains how many more cuts will be needed to preserve a strong job market without reversing recent declines in inflation. Fed officials began lowering rates at their previous meeting in September by making a larger half-point rate cut. This time around, the decision on interest rates won't have the suspense like September, which left markets guessing over the size of the first rate cut in 4 years.
Hurricane Rafael is expected to make its way into the Gulf of Mexico today as a Category 2 storm. Rafael made landfall as a Category 3 yesterday in western Cuba. It's expected to be reduced to tropical storm status by the weekend and poses no threat to the Texas Gulf Coast. Well, after 1 month, a San Antonio mother of 4 remains missing, and her husband remains in the Bexar County jail. And now one of her daughters is speaking out on social media. Eric Lycum reports.
20-year-old Chandler Simpson took to Instagram yesterday to lash out at the community of Alamo Heights for looking the other way when it comes to domestic violence and the death of her mother, Suzanne Clark Simpson. She said of her father, Brad Simpson, quote, "My mom was a victim of abuse from my father. My father took my mother's life in a state of rage and control," unquote. She went on to say her mother was a victim of the community as well and called on supporters to stand with her in silence on November 13th when the family will be present at Brad Simpson's hearing in Bexar County Court. Simpson remains uncooperative and charged with federal weapons and local domestic violence charges. Eric Lycum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
It is 6:06, news at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Traffic and weather coming up.
San Antonio's First News, our full team coverage of this 2024 election. The parts of it we know and still a few things we don't know about it. It rolls on. Coming up later this hour, in fact, at 6:40, White House correspondent John Decker will look ahead to the future Trump administration. We'll talk about that and more. We're going to hear from you. We're asking you on the free iHeartRadio app, 28 hours since we knew for sure who would be the next president of the United States. How do you feel now that you've had a full day to digest it? And coming up, the Democrats now playing the blame game after losing this presidential election. We'll dive into that in a moment. But first, your traffic and weather together.
Some showers this morning, becoming less numerous this afternoon. Highs in the low to mid 80s. Tomorrow, showers early with mostly cloudy conditions later in the day. Highs in the low 80s. And then on Saturday, a mixture of clouds and sun. Highs in the upper 70s. 69 degrees in Alamo Heights. 69 at Randolph Air Force Base. And 67 here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 6:12.
San Antonio's First News, Randolph Air Force Base. Home of the Randolph Rohawks.
Yes,
Charity
go
McCurdy,
Hawks.
a proud alum. I'm still waiting for that statue. Randolph High School.
Please get somebody else other than the person that did Dwayne Wade's to do this. Please,
Yeah, do
please.
not get the Dwayne Wade sculptor for the Charity McCurdy statue in front of the Randolph. Is it Randolph High School? Is that the official name?
Yes.
I want the statue, Charity.
All right.
Start banging that drum.
Yes. Dwayne Wade and Cristiano Ronaldo. Statues.
No. Yes,
please.
no.
God, no.
No. That's coming up. All right. Democrats starting to play the blame game. We'll talk about that in a sec. First, let's listen to a little more of Kamala Harris's concession speech yesterday.
The outcome of this election is not what we wanted, not what we fought for, not what we voted for, but hear me when I say, the light of America's promise will always burn bright.
Kamala Harris, a portion there of her concession speech at Howard University. Lots of Democrats now playing the blame game. Charity, we were talking about this before the show. Senator Bernie Sanders saying that the Democratic Party abandoned the working class, that it used to be the party of the working class, and they certainly didn't provide enough of a reason for the working class of America to vote their way.
Yeah, and I think another issue is the fact that Kamala Harris did not distance herself enough from President Biden on key issues. You know, that infamous ABC's The View interview comes to mind, where in response to a question on what she would have done differently from President Biden, she said not a thing comes to mind. So that might have been the death knell. Also, I'm hearing a lot about her choice of running mate, Tim Walz. I think that fell flat, and a lot of people were scratching their head why she did not go with Pennsylvania Governor Shapiro. So I think there's a lot of factors at play. I mean, yes, you can say she only had 3 months to put her presidential campaign together, but there were definitely key moments, I think, where she fell short.
I think a lot of the blame goes to President Biden for not jumping out of this race earlier, because I'm sure people around him were telling him, hey, dude, you don't need to do this. You probably can't do this.
Yeah.
And it was obvious he couldn't do this. And then her economic message was almost non-existent. It fell flat. And you mentioned Tim Walz. He didn't offer anything. He really didn't.
You're like a folksy high school football coach.
Hey, that's what he was.
Yeah. But other than that, not a whole lot. All right, coming up, we want to continue to hear from you in addition to all of our special guests and experts like White House correspondent John Decker at 6:40. Don't forget Randy Beamer and Charlie Parker in the 7 o'clock hour. But we're going to hear from you coming up. Your talkbacks. You've had more than 24 hours to digest the results in the presidential race. How you feeling? How you getting along with either friends or family who are on the other side? We'll talk about that and more coming up. WOAI News Time 6:16.
Right, Travis. I like that because she could be out there playing her. That would be a great statue. Her with her.
You know, that would be fun. That's a talk back someday. If there was a statue of each of us at our high school.
Yes.
Of you and Jay, me and Holmes, Randolph, what would the statue be?
Mine'd be pretty simple. I'd be sitting down.
Smoking a joint.
Why do you think they call it high school?
Mine would be looking for girls in the smoking area because I heard they were loose.
That's hilarious. That's a good one.
Yeah, very nice.
What would your statue at your school be?
If there was a statue of
I like it.
Right. So Mr. T would be
smoking
a doobie. I'd either be in the smoking area looking for girls or saying, "Rock, kick his ass." Right?
He was your bodyguard.
Yeah, nobody would mess with me. I used to hang out with Steve DeRocco.
You know, that might be fun to do.
Rock, kick his ass.
You know, to give people a break from the election stuff, that might be fun to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know,
and Beamer would be
yes.
here too. So what would the Beamers? Yeah, Beamer would be like the anchor
with
man.
the camera.
Oh, camera
with the camera or reading.
Yes.
Yeah, there'd be two statues because he's Randy Beamer, for God's sakes.
That's funny.
We should do that tomorrow.
That is very funny.
All right, what do you got? Okay, people on the chat, the few of you are here. Would you do that? Would you do that? Would you participate on a Friday? What would the statue at your high school be of you? What would you be doing? Yes.
So they can either call in on theirs and or any of us.
That's true.
So, yeah.
That's funny.
What would the Charlie Parker at South San High School statue be? Smoking cigarettes.
Definitely. Playing baseball because he played baseball at South San.
Okay.
Yeah. With a bat.
A bat and a cigarette in his mouth.
Yeah, a cigarette with a bat.
In his mouth.
Oh, I like that. That's a good one. What would Andrew Zimmel's be? What would EJ's be?
That's very good.
Well, EJ's wouldn't be there because it would be late.
EJ would be looking at his phone.
They both would be.
EJ's looking at his phone right outside of the school.
Oh, that's funny.
He's doing it right now.
Both of them are.
Too bad we can't cut to that camera.
You can take a picture of it and show everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't see. I get it closer. I'll do it later.
So you got a.
I got a montage, as they call it.
But I mean, before headlines, traffic, and
I got one.
You got one? Okay.
Yeah. Might as well play storyteller. What the hell?
Okay. Are you adding his tag?
No.
Okay.
No, we're going to leave it at that and see what happens.
Okay.
That's all right.
We'll do it later.
That's all right. No,
you sure?
Never.
So you're blowing it out.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go fast.
Yeah. Well, because I got the montage ready for the 20 break, so we'll go from there.
Connie is down with the talkback idea. Thank you, Connie.
Right on.
What would Joe Pag's statue be?
Oh, that's a good question. Whatever. I'd have to think about that one. That's a good one.
He'd be talking.
Of course.
He'd be talking.
He'd be saying, "I love you like a brother."
Yeah. Maybe that's it.
You push it, and you push a button, and it says, "Love you like a brother." Yeah. Or you pull the string. Stand by, Chris. For you, Sam. Stand by, Chris.
Coming up, more from you after you've had more than 24 hours to digest these presidential election results. First, Charity, what stories are you following?
Well, yesterday we heard from Vice President Kamala Harris following her election loss, and today President Biden will address the nation. Following President-elect Trump's victory, the GOP is on the verge of controlling both chambers of Congress. And San Antonio City Councilman Mark White has accepted a plea deal in his DWI case. We'll have more right now, traffic and weather.
You may see some showers this morning, but they will be less numerous this afternoon. Highs in the low to mid 80s. Tomorrow, showers early, cloudy conditions later in the day, highs in the low 80s. And then on Saturday, a mixture of clouds and sun, highs in the upper 70s. 69 degrees at Lackland Air Force Base, 69 in Alamo Heights, 67 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 622.
San Antonio's first news. That's Mr. T, Tim Merriman. She's Charity McCurdy. I'm Chris Duell. Randy Beamer and Charlie Parker will join us in the 7 o'clock hour. John Decker, White House correspondent, coming up at 6:40. Lots to talk about with him, but we're talking with you about, all right, how do you feel now that you've really had a chance to digest these presidential election results for over 24 hours? Mr. T, let's listen in.
Morning, y'all. This is Danny from Pipe Creek. I'm not a Trump supporter. I am a Republican. I'm a Reagan Republican. I hope Trump can do better this time. He needs to. His first term was a disaster with COVID. And I hope we don't see a big backlash from the Democrats and their loss. Have a great day.
Man, it's a good day in the neighborhood. I'm so glad that Donald Trump is in office or will be in office. It's a great day, like I said, for the whole country.
Morning, crew. Jerry up in Blanco. My reaction to last night is probably nothing more than, man, I'm glad that's over with. Very good job was done by the San Antonio First News crew, keeping it even-handed and unbiased. Appreciate hearing from all the listeners. Congratulations, America. The future is bright.
Jerry in Blanco, thank you for the kind words. And a sigh of relief there from Jerry as well. I think a lot of people are, glad it's over. You said something funny, Charity, on Election Day. You said it felt like it's been 5 years, this race, and it really did.
I mean, it was just so exhausting, trying to analyze the polls, which again failed us for a third time, because you just didn't know which way it was going to go. It was so tight. And I think a lot of people just felt like so much was at stake as far as the future of America, our ability to continue to succeed and be a power around the globe. And I think a lot of people, as far as Trump supporters, are excited about what's to come because, Trump's, one of his common slogans on the campaign trail was promises made, promises kept. And he has a lot that he plans to do, not only on day one in office, but the first 100 days.
Yeah, the first 100 days are going to be important. And I think a lot of people like here in Texas and any of the other border states were concentrating a lot on immigration, shutting down the border, stopping all the illegal immigration coming into the country. And that helps the economy if you can control that.
Yeah, and you mentioned the border, Mr. T, the promises made, promises kept theme. We are expecting that mass deportations component that he has been talking about to happen very quickly, perhaps even on day one of his administration, some major movement in that direction. And of course, as we get closer to Inauguration Day, January 20th, we'll, I'm sure, be hearing lots and lots more about what to expect very early on that first day and in the first 100 days. Coming up at 6:40, White House correspondent John Decker, Charity with all the big stories you need to know about at the bottom of the hour. WOAI News Time, 6:25.
We're back. Yeah, belt mounted calculator. See, now you know. Now you know.
Those
That's
Texas
good.
Instruments calculators?
Yes, or as the cool geeks would call them, the TIs, the TI 2000.
And who was the chairman and CEO of Texas Instruments?
Oh God,
Ross Perot.
that's right. That's right.
And I didn't, obviously at the time in high school.
You didn't know who the hell Ross Perot was.
No, but later I would. By 1992, I would.
Can I finish?
Can I finish? We're going to fix it. Gonna get under the hood?
We're going to fix
Under the hood, we're going to fix it.
Gonna fix it.
Sounds a little like Phil Hardberg.
It does.
Yeah.
Yesterday,
The hurricane.
So what I'm understanding, Sicko, is maybe you were a ghost in high school? Was that possible?
So what Sicko? So on your statue, you could have the base.
Yeah, just the base.
But no,
yeah, there's just the
name,
base.
the plaque, and
Sicko. That's all it says.
Where's the statue?
That is it.
You don't see it.
See, and I think they could mount a clock in my stomach on there, and it would just say 420 all the time.
Nice. Nice. You'd be point
to the clock
that says 420, or
yeah,
or on your watch if people it was really detailed.
A digital watch because it was the 80s.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're right on time.
Don't get too used to it.
I know. Doesn't happen often.
Things can change around here.
Does not happen often.
So John Decker at 6:40.
Correctamundo.
7 o'clock hour, Randy Beamer is due in. He'll be in for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Charlie at 7:50.
Oh, there was an open warfare between TI and HP. Wow.
Was it really?
You were in the TI camp. Being from Texas, that makes sense.
I believe I had a Texas Instruments calculator.
I think we all did.
I don't think HP.
The
class
not
of
in my
78
neighborhood.
was
Not where I
happening
lived,
yet.
man. We didn't know no HP, man. It was all TI, baby. Yeah, I was an Air Force brat too, but luckily by the time I got to San Antonio, my 3 sisters went to schools all over the country, all over the world. I started first grade in San Antonio and finished school in San Antonio. I'm the only one in my family who started and finished school in the same town, much less the same house. So, yeah, my dad retired shortly after we got here. So, he retired from the Air Force, I should say, and then went to work for the city. Then retired from there as well. All right, Charity McCurdy with all the news you need to know is coming right up.
Woo!
.30 is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Thursday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, President Biden is planning to address the nation this morning following Tuesday's election, and the Justice Department is winding down cases against President-elect Trump. We'll have the details. First, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your weather forecast for this Thursday: showers this morning, tapering off this afternoon, a high near 84, slight chance of rain tonight, a low near 70, right now 71 degrees. Following Donald Trump's big victory on Tuesday, Vice President Kamala Harris delivered a concession speech from Howard University in D.C. yesterday, signaling that the fight to improve American lives continues.
While I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign.
Harris says she called now President-elect Trump to congratulate him and discuss the importance of a peaceful transfer of power and being a president for all Americans. Meantime, President Biden will address the election results when he speaks to the nation later this morning. Here's Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
The speech comes just a day after Vice President Kamala Harris officially conceded to President-elect Trump by phone and during a concession speech at Howard University. The White House says President Biden spoke to both candidates and congratulated them on their races. President-elect Trump was also invited to meet with the commander-in-chief at the White House. According to the White House, the president expressed his, quote, commitment to ensuring a smooth transition and emphasized the importance of working to bring the country together. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
And the Justice Department is looking at how to wind down 2 criminal cases against Trump now that he's been reelected to the White House. Here's Laura Jarrett with more.
Both federal cases mired in appeals and delays for months, with no trials on the horizon, as Mr. Trump has vowed to fire the top prosecutor in charge, Special Counsel Jack Smith.
The cases center around his actions leading up to the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot and his handling of classified documents. The Trump camp is also looking at how to get rid of state criminal cases against him in New York and Georgia. Trump is the first person with felony convictions elected to the White House after he was found guilty on 34 counts of falsifying business records in a New York hush money case this past spring. Sentencing in that case is currently scheduled for November 26th. We still don't know if Democrats or Republicans are going to be in control of the U.S. House. Here's Fox's Jill Nato.
AP says getting the final tallies on several hard-fought House races from New York to California could still be days away. We do know 2 races in Virginia have been decided, but neither party gained any ground because of them. Republican Representative Jen Kiggins won re-election in southeastern Virginia, while Democrat Eugene Vindman won a seat in the northern part of the state. Vindman and his brother Alexander played roles in President-elect Trump's first impeachment. House Speaker Mike Johnson's been saying he's optimistic the House will stay in GOP control. Jill Nato, Fox News.
Trump and his Republican allies managed to ride a red wave of support from the Hispanic community to victory. Congresswoman Monica De La Cruz, who also won re-election, says that focusing on the economy was a winning message in her Texas border district.
We are talking about kitchen table issues, a strong border, and the cost of living.
That tracks with a pre-election poll done by the Pew Research Center. It found that the main concern among Hispanic voters was the economy, followed by healthcare and violent crime. Exit polling showed that Trump got about 45% of the Latino vote. That's a more than 10-point increase compared to 2020. And President-elect Trump is under pressure from his own party to act quickly to secure the southern border. Here's Beth Myers.
Some hardline Republicans want Trump to close the border on day one. But David Stout with the Texas Border Coalition says that would be a mistake.
The cavalier talk of closing the border puts in jeopardy the progress that has been made.
He says Texas's strategy of walls and fencing hasn't worked. Migrants are still coming in large numbers. While campaigning, Trump promised mass deportations of illegal immigrants. But there are both legal and logistical questions about how that would be accomplished. I'm Beth Myers, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
San Antonio is the host city for the 2025 men's and women's HBCU All-Star Basketball Games. Mayor Ron Nierenberg and Travis Williams, CEO of the game, made the announcement during a news conference yesterday. The games are scheduled for Sunday, April 6th at Freeman Coliseum, between the NCAA men's Final Four games at the Alamo Dome on Saturday and Monday. The games will involve the best 24 male and 24 female student athletes from historically black colleges and universities. Well, the Texas Appeals Court has ordered a new trial for a man on death row. Here's Fox's Chris DeMeo.
The new trial ordered for 47-year-old Randy Halpern, a Jewish man who was part of a gang of prisoners that fatally shot a police officer after escaping. Halpern's lawyers contend a judge who presided over his case used racial slurs and anti-Semitic language referring to him and some of his co-defendants. The appeals court also found evidence that former Judge Vickers Cunningham used derogatory language outside the courtroom with great hatred and disgust. Cunningham is now an attorney in private practice. His office says he won't be commenting. Chris DeMeo, Fox News.
San Antonio City Councilman Mark White's DWI case is reduced to a non-DWI charge by a plea deal. In a court appearance yesterday, White pleaded no contest to obstruction of a highway in order to receive deferred adjudication. He avoids conviction if he completes 6 months of probation, which includes no alcoholic beverages. He was also given 48 hours of community service and required to pay a fine and court costs plus other conditions. It is 6:37. Traffic and weather together in a minute. But first, a check of your money in the world of business. Courtney Dundaho is live at the Bloomberg News Desk. All right, thanks, Courtney. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Traffic and weather coming up.
San Antonio's first news. Charity McCurdy, Mr. T, Tim Merriman. I'm Chris Duell. Charlie Parker and Randy Beamer in the next hour. We're looking forward to that. Charlie Parker has some presidential trivia he's going to lay on us in the 7 o'clock hour as well. Andrew Zimmel and EJ Pacheco doing the heavy lifting, doing all the technical work, flying the Millennium Falcon. And of course, Andrew directing our YouTube stream. If you want to watch the show on YouTube, you can. It's go to 1200 WOAI on YouTube, and you can join us there. Charity, we are standing by to speak with White House correspondent John Decker. As some people already, I'm sure the Democrats are, but even some in the Republican Party starting to look ahead and speculate about the year 2028.
Yeah, and I mean, people are hoping somehow former President Trump, now Trump, President-elect Trump, will find a way to get another term, possibly. We'll see.
Let's talk about it with White House correspondent John Decker. John, we just went through this election. People on both sides already talking about 2028?
Well, that's right. And the reason being is because Donald Trump cannot run for another term as president because of the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution. And that means on both sides, on the Republican side, on the Democratic side, there will be a lot of jockeying to determine who will succeed Donald Trump as president of the United States. On the Republican side, certainly J.D. Vance has a huge head start over any of his rivals who would like to succeed Donald Trump, given that he's vice president. And we'll see what happens on that side of the aisle. And then on the Democratic side, it's going to be a crowded field that will include a number of governors. You have the Democratic governor from Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, the Democratic governor from Maryland, Wes Moore, you have Governor Beshear of Kentucky. You have the governor of California, and the governor of Michigan, all wanting to perhaps run at the national level. And I don't think that Vice President Harris will be among those jockeying for the Democratic presidential nomination in 2028. I believe that her political career is over with the loss that she suffered the other night.
And John, for Republicans, we've seen Florida Senator Marco Rubio and Trump's relationship really improve over the last couple of years. And I believe Rubio was a finalist for the ticket before Trump opted for Vance.
He was, and he's run for president before in 2016 against Donald Trump. I think he's going to be a part of Donald Trump's cabinet. I would not be surprised if he is our next Secretary of State. That's just my guess in terms of Marco Rubio's future. But, he is a person who has national ambitions, and he certainly will be one of those jockeying to be one of those individuals competing for the Republican nomination in 2028.
And not just talking about the cabinet, but Trump's team is already starting to vet candidates for the White House jobs. And there's a lot of jobs he's got to fill. So I imagine this is going to be a lot of vetting between now and Inauguration Day.
Well, that's right. Some of that has already taken place because there are individuals who served before and would like to serve again. Donald Trump's going to have a huge advantage in that Republicans control the U.S. Senate, which means the people that he wants to serve in his administration will have a much, much easier time in terms of getting confirmed by the Senate for those positions that require Senate confirmation. Every cabinet position requires a Senate confirmation. Every political appointee that needs to get Senate confirmation will go through that process. And, it's just so much easier when you have Republicans controlling that process.
And of course, John, we're hearing a lot about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. somehow being involved in this Trump administration. Do you think he will get a direct cabinet position or be brought on as an advisor? What kind of a role do you see for RFK Jr.?
Well, that's a really good question. I mentioned that, certain positions require Senate confirmation. If you're the head of HHS, if you're the head of the Department of Agriculture, if you're the head of the Food and Drug Administration, all of those positions require Senate confirmation. Could Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Get that necessary Senate confirmation? I don't know. I mean, I don't know, all the things that are necessary, to in terms of what types of background he has for certain positions. But, as in the closing days of the campaign, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was right there with Donald Trump at his side at campaign rallies, Trump talking him up. I believe he was at Mar-a-Lago on election night. So I have no doubt he'll be a part of Donald Trump administration. I just simply don't know in what capacity.
And John, what are you expecting to hear from President Biden when he addresses the nation this morning?
Well, I'll be there. I'll be in the Rose Garden for that address that he makes, in a few hours. It's, I believe, in the 11 o'clock hour this morning. I think that the message that we'll hear is a message that I heard from President Barack Obama when he was in the Rose Garden and he addressed the nation days after Donald Trump was elected president. And that is that, we are democracy. We have a peaceful transition of power. We need to work to make certain that is a peaceful transition, that it goes smoothly, that the country, even though there is disappointment in one half of the country needs to come together. I think all of those messages will be delivered by President Biden in a few hours at the White House. And that message is one that's directed not just to his own party, but to the nation as a whole.
Our thanks to White House correspondent and attorney John Decker. We'll get you caught up on headlines, traffic, and weather. More in the aftermath of this 2024 presidential election coming your way. WOAI News Time, 647.
morning, crew. This is Chris from Kirby. I'm thrilled. I'm just ready to get our country back and take care of this illegal immigration issue. But what do you think? Biden gets up there today and resigns, and Kamala becomes president for the next few months. Just a joke, but a thought.
Well, Chris, that might have been a joke, but Mike Opelka
That's his theory, yes.
predicted that yesterday. Well, I talked to Mike Opelka again at 8:20 this morning. Charity McCurdy, what stories are you following?
After Vice President Kamala Harris's concession speech yesterday, President Biden has an election-related speech planned for this morning. The race for control of the U.S. House is still undecided, and Texas voter turnout dropped from the 2020 election despite record registration. We'll have more coming up. Right now, traffic and weather.
Possibility for some showers this morning, becoming less numerous later today. Highs in the low to mid 80s. Tomorrow, showers early, mostly cloudy conditions later in the day. Highs in the low 80s. Saturday, a mixture of clouds and sun. Highs in the upper 70s. 70 degrees in Lavernia, Texas. 70 in China Grove, and 67 right here at the Radio Ranch. WOAI News Time 6:53.
San Antonio's first news. Big 7 o'clock hour is on the way. Randy Beamer going to join us in studio. He'll be with us in studio until 9 o'clock this morning. Charlie Parker going to join us in the 7 o'clock hour as well, among other things. He's got some presidential trivia for us. 7:40 national correspondent Rory O'Neill. And we've talked about all aspects of this presidential election result, Charity. And one of the big questions is Donald Trump's legal cases. Do they all go away? And we've talked about the fact that President Joe Biden, an address to the nation at 10 o'clock this morning Central Time. I think it's a long shot, but Mr. T suggests that if Joe Biden really wants to unite the country, he should pardon Donald Trump of all illegal proceedings against him that at least are federal. You can't do that in state cases, but that would be a huge olive branch to the other side.
Yeah, and he'd be demonstrating the ultimate show of unity. And we all know that likely these federal cases will go away with President-elect Trump in charge of the Justice Department. And there's word that the DOJ is already looking on how to wind down those 2 criminal cases against Trump. And we know Special Counsel Jack Smith is going to lose his job on day one of Trump taking the White House. Yeah. So it would be Biden doing what's already going to happen eventually.
Yeah, because I believe the DOJ has a long-standing policy that a sitting president can't face criminal prosecution while in office. So if that's the case, do they wait till he's out of office? But then you're looking at, that wouldn't look good.
2028.
Yeah, that would not look good at all.
No.
And I just think, it wouldn't look good for our country, especially people looking at it, other countries looking at us to have the sitting president on trial for something.
Yeah, and I go back to and again, I'm talking way, way, way long shot, but just something to think about. We just heard the talk back from Chris in Kirby, who jokingly said, Biden steps aside and Kamala Harris becomes the president for 2 months, essentially. But Mike Opelka said it yesterday. The reason Mike Opelka said it yesterday, and Mike's going to join us again at 8:20 this morning, but Charity, Mike said that one of the reasons that would happen is so that Kamala Harris doesn't have to be, as vice president, in charge of certifying the vote of Donald Trump to become the president on January 6th. I don't think that's going to happen, but wouldn't it be wild if two things, he did both. He said, pardon for President-elect Trump for everything federally that he's up against. Those will go away right now. And on my way out the door, I'm going to do something that no one else has done before. I will be the reason we will have the first ever woman president of the United States for the next 2 months. I, Joseph Biden, step aside as president of the United States.
I don't think you would define that as a peaceful transfer of power, especially for Republicans. I don't think that would go over well at all.
But he's giving you the pardon.
Yeah, he's giving you the pardon.
Yeah,
so there's
but
that. Yeah.
Still, I think it would be perceived as Biden pulling a fast one.
I could see that. I could see
the fast
Biden.
one is going to be
I could see them
pardon
thinking
for
about it
Hunter
like
Biden.
that. Yeah,
That's going to be the fast
Well,
one.
come on, and he's probably gonna give Hunter Biden a pardon. I mean, if it was my kid, if it was your kid or your kid, I mean, come on, you got to let your kid off. Man.
I believe that's coming.
Yeah, I do too.
And
Even
when
though he
he's-
said he wouldn't.
Yes,
Yeah.
but again, he was still running for president at the time.
True.
Even when he said that earlier, I think in the summer
Yes.
or the spring, I always thought that by the time he goes out the door, he's going to go, I really did some soul searching and I really thought about this, and he's my son and I have to part.
And he's
I've
come so
always
far.
believed-
He's come so far. He's been working on himself and he's come so far. I just have to pardon him.
I've always believed that's coming, and I still do.
Watch his speech just end up being a pat on the back about Biden and what he feels he's accomplished the last 4 years. We're probably so far off base.
If you do that now, that would be a shocker. That would be a
Or he
shocker.
could say, I told you I shouldn't step aside. Kamala, how you like me now? I'm the only guy who can beat Trump, and you guys kicked me to the curb. Get off my lawn. Do we play the Biden drinking game during this speech? It's 10 o'clock in the morning. How many times is he going to say, folks?
Ooh.
Folks?
Ooh, I like that.
Folks.
I'm in.
Yeah, okay.
I'll play.
I mean, we're off work at 10 a.m.
Yeah, I'll play. What the heck?
Biden speech drinking game?
What are we drinking?
We found a whole bunch of Oktoberfest, Shinerbach Oktoberfest in the back refrigerator. We were doing inventory this morning just in case.
But is it right to drink a Shinerbach Oktoberfest beer in November?
We're doing a public service getting rid of it, Chris.
Oh,
so
that's
people don't have to come in and try it in November.
I'd hate to force a Shinerbach Oktoberfest beer on someone in
November.
November. But is a Shinerbach a little too slumming it for you, Charity? as a beer elitist?
It's a little heavy, actually, a little too dark. But
Well, the Oktoberfest is actually an amber color. It's beautiful.
Okay.
It's a really pretty color.
I'll give it a taste and go from there.
And believe it or not, there's still 5 of those non-alcoholic Stella Artois that I bought by accident still in that fridge back there. EJ drank one.
And he stopped at one.
Before we let him know that it was non-alcoholic.
EJ said, I think I'll be stopping after one.
I was like, either that or my tolerance.
Yeah,
is
so
like
he's going, I
really
think I might
high,
have a problem, guys.
All right. Speaking of EJ and Andrew Zimmel, they're doing the heavy lifting today, technically, and Andrew manning our YouTube stream. In fact, it's double eye candy Thursday.
Woo.
And not only Charity McCurdy on the YouTube stream, but Randy Beamer at any minute now. He's going to walk into the studio. So you may want to get to YouTube and search 1200 WOAI. There will be a Charlie Parker sighting on that YouTube stream in the 7 o'clock hour as well. Speaking of the 7 o'clock hour, it's now Charity McCurdy with everything you need to know as WOAI news time is 7 o'clock.
Seven o'clock is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Thursday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, Kamala Harris concedes the presidential race, and a Fed cut rate decisions coming later today. We'll have details, fares, traffic, and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your weather forecast for this Thursday: showers this morning, tapering off this afternoon, a high near 84, slight chance of rain tonight, a low near 70, right now 71 degrees. Well, with Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign for Commander-in-Chief over, she delivered her concession speech, which included a call to action. Here's Fox's Tanya J. Powers.
Standing on stage in front of the historic Frederick Douglass Memorial Hall on the Howard University campus, Vice President Kamala Harris talked about what she said during her concession call to President-elect Donald Trump.
I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power.
While she conceded, she said she intended to continue the fight that fueled her campaign, telling supporters, quote, "It's not time to throw up our hands, it's time to roll up our sleeves." At Howard University, Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
And the White House's President Biden will address the nation later this morning around 10 o'clock. Biden spoke with Trump yesterday and congratulated him on his election victory. He also invited Trump to the White House to talk about a smooth transition of power. And the race for control of the U.S. House is still undecided, but Republicans are expressing confidence they'll take control once all the votes are counted. The GOP needs 12 more seats to keep control. The Democrats need 22 more to flip it, but political analysts say that seems unlikely. If the GOP keeps control, it would give Republicans control of both houses of Congress and the White House following Trump's victory. And President-elect Trump has some decisions to make about who will join his cabinet. Fox's Aisha Hasni has details on who could be on the short list.
President-elect Trump is now hiring. He will first need to find a chief of staff and also make some pretty important cabinet secretary positions and picks. He has previously talked about RFK Jr. and letting him, quote, go wild on healthcare. He's spoken about giving Elon Musk a Department of Government Efficiency department to rein in the government, and also Trump's campaign manager, Susie Wiles. Her name has been tossed around D.C. circles as a potential chief of staff, but nothing has been announced just yet. We got a new statement from his transition team, which reads in part, in the days and weeks ahead, President Trump will be selecting personnel to serve our nation under his leadership and enact policies that make the life of Americans affordable, safe, and secure.
Senate Republicans reportedly plan to hold confirmation hearings at the beginning of the new year to help the president-elect hit the ground running as soon as he's inaugurated. State officials say voter turnout in Texas for this week's presidential election fell short of the numbers 4 years ago. There are nearly 19 million registered voters in Texas, more than ever before. Just over 11 million voted this time around for a turnout of 61%. That's about 6% below the turnout in 2020. Democrats were particularly disappointed by the turnout in the state's populous blue counties, such as Bexar, Harris, and Dallas. Bexar County's voter turnout was around 58%. And the election may be over, but many streets remain littered with campaign signs. In San Antonio, some groups are collecting them.
We have some marvelous, marvelous teachers, art teachers, that if the signs aren't picked up, the art teachers go.
Bexar County Elections Coordinator Jackie Callanan says they really want the signs to go down. They're obscuring the vision of drivers in some cases, which is dangerous. Well, a man with a lengthy criminal record is hospitalized after pointing a gun at a San Antonio police officer who fired a shot and wounded the suspect last night. Chief William McManus says the suspect evaded police earlier in the day until another officer tried.
He attempted a traffic stop. The suspect finally stopped. He didn't stop immediately. And when he did stop, as the officer approached, he pointed a gun out the window at the officer, a handgun.
McManus says the officer fired at the suspect and hit his shoulder. The suspect was hospitalized. The officer has about 2.5 years on the force. No word on charges the suspect would face. After a month, a San Antonio mother of 4 remains missing and her husband remains in the Bexar County jail. Now one of her daughters is speaking out on social media. Eric Lycum reports.
20-year-old Chandler Simpson took to Instagram yesterday to lash out at the community of Alamo Heights for looking the other way when it comes to domestic violence and the death of her mother, Suzanne Clark Simpson. She said of her father, Brad Simpson, quote, "My mom was a victim of abuse from my father. My father took my mother's life in a state of rage and control," unquote. She went on.
San Antonio's first news, a big 7 o'clock hour is upon us. Coming into the studio, about 7:20-ish, Randy Beamer. Lots to talk about with Randy. 7:40, national correspondent Rory O'Neill. More on the aftermath of this 2024 presidential election. 7:50, Charlie Parker in studio. Among other things, he's got some presidential trivia for us. And coming right up, a segment we call Wait Till You Hear This. We'll hear from Vice President Kamala Harris during her concession speech yesterday at Howard University. But first, let's get you caught up on traffic and weather together.
Some showers early and then less numerous later in the day. Highs in the low to mid 80s. Tomorrow, showers early, mostly cloudy conditions in the afternoon. Highs in the low 80s. And then on Saturday, a mixture of clouds and sun. Highs in the upper 70s. It is 70 degrees at Lackland Air Force Base, 70 degrees at the Pearl, and 69 right here in Stone Oak. WOEI News Time, 7:11.
San Antonio's first news, that's Mr. T. She's Charity. I'm Chris. Randy Beamer's motorcade is approaching. It was spotted on Highway 281 headed toward the Stone Oak area. He could be here any minute now. Charlie Parker is in the building. He's going to join us at 7:20. But right now, we span the globe to bring you the constant variety of audio in a segment we call Wait Till You Hear This. And we were wondering during the show yesterday, when is Vice President Kamala Harris going to deliver her concession speech? Well, she waited till about 3:30 in the afternoon, our time, to deliver it at Howard University yesterday. Let's listen to a portion of it.
Now, I know folks are feeling and experiencing a range of emotions right now. I get it. But we must accept the results of this election. Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power. A fundamental principle of American democracy is that when we lose an election, we accept the results. That principle, as much as any other, distinguishes democracy from monarchy or tyranny.
Just a little passive aggressive there, Charity. I mean, we get it. You're accepting the results, but are you taking a shot at somebody there?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of sour grapes at play here. But for the most part, I think she did well. She acknowledged that everyone's experiencing a range of emotions. And that we got to accept it, and everyone's got to move on. That's just the way it is. But I think she was focused on unity and, of course, a peaceful transfer of power.
Yeah, I just wonder, had she done this speech that night of the election, if that would have made it into that speech. Because she had time to think about it, time to digest it. Would it have been like that, or would it have been maybe a bigger stab at former president, now president-elect?
Good question. Good question. And the speech was about 12 minutes. Mm-hmm. By the time it ended, she got very poetic, talking about, when it gets the darkest, you can see the stars in the sky, and she wants there to be billions of stars there lighting the way and uniting the country. I like you, Charity. I thought it was a very good speech. And by the end of it, I kind of liked the poetic tone that she struck.
And I wasn't sure if she was losing her voice or she had trouble maintaining her composure, her emotions. But when the camera panned to Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff and his daughter, who was clearly emotional and tears, I thought that was a very powerful moment as well.
Yeah, it was pretty powerful. Hey, look, she said all the right things. She said what she should have said, and now let's just move on and get the transfer of power going. Let's hope it goes peacefully and get it done.
I got a feeling it will go peacefully. And again, President Joe Biden will address the nation. It's scheduled for 10 o'clock this morning, our time. More on that. Randy Beamer on the way in. Charlie Parker at 7:50 this morning. Big 7 o'clock hour rolls on. WOAI News Time, 7:14.
We're back.
Okay. Woo! Yes.
Yeah, he's on his way. He'll be right. He just said the motorcade is approaching. Wow, there's 40 people on here.
And then you have a montage of 3 at 7:20?
Yes, two.
Okay.
Because I forgot about her and I got Eric Lycum on the first one, so that's what I don't like this setup, man. I cannot do what I want to do. All right, we're back.
Agree.
Yep.
Eric, welcome in. Johnny, UTSA, welcome in, saying no sound. Can you guys hear us?
You can hear us now.
I'm seeing no sound.
Well, I just turned us off for a second,
okay.
so yeah. Oh, and I pulled Charity down while I was doing something earlier. So yeah, sound is back. I had to do
Robert's
something and I
cabin.
needed Charity out of the mix there. Sorry, guys.
So, Eric, once again, we'd like to have you on Monday, Veterans Day. What time, T?
Shoot.
7:50?
Yeah, let's go 7:50.
Is that open?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No showing at that point?
No.
Okay.
No.
Hey, 7:50 on Monday, Eric. Does that sound good? Edgar, welcome in, man.
Good morning.
Okay, cool.
All right, cool. We'll call you.
Yeah, for people new to the stream, and I see some people who are new,
Yeah.
Eric takes these magnificent
Amazing.
portraits of veterans, and we want to call attention to that on Veterans Day and tell veterans how they can get a hold of Eric. Go look at his website. He does it for free.
Oh, that's even better. He's got some quotes from some of the veterans. Oh, that's awesome.
Beautiful.
Yeah. That'll be perfect for Veterans Day. I like that. All right. That's perfect. Remember, I got one coming in here.
Okay.
Hit it.
Hey, this is Trey from New Braunfels. I just wanted to give a big shout out to Charity. My wife and I just picked up a copy of her book, Thumbstuck. We have a 2.5-year-old who's having a big problem with her thumb. She loves the book. She sees the main character and she goes, "That's me, Dada." It's just been awesome. Thank you for help. And also, guys, you can drink Oktoberfest right now. Wurstfest is happening.
Oh, he's an extra. And by the way, Trey, if you'll bring the book over here, Charity will sign it.
Oh, Trey, that just made my day. Thank you so much.
How cool is that?
That is cool, man.
And how cool to hear his child's reaction to your character in the book, Charity.
Which was illustrated based on my daughter who struggled with thumb sucking, as did I when I was a child. So
It's a great book, by the way. It's
thank
a
you.
good
We always have new listeners. How can people get the book?
On Amazon. Yeah, you just search Thumbstuck on Amazon and you'll find it.
Thumbstuck.
Two separate words.
Okay.
Thumbstuck. Yeah.
Stuck.
Yeah.
On Amazon by Charity McCurdy. Go get it. Christmas is coming.
That'll make a great Christmas gift.
Just saying. Just saying. And here she is, Charity McCurdy. What stories are you following?
President Biden will address the nation at 10 o'clock this morning about Donald Trump's victory in Tuesday's election. Meantime, President-elect Trump is busy making his cabinet selections, and the race for control of the U.S. House is still undecided, but Republicans are expressing confidence. We'll have the latest right now, traffic and weather.
Showers this morning becoming less numerous this afternoon. Highs in the low to mid 80s. Tomorrow, showers early, mostly cloudy in the afternoon. Highs in the low 80s. And then on Saturday, a mixture of clouds and sun. Highs in the upper 70s. 70 degrees in Alamo Heights, 70 in Leon Valley, and 69 right here at the Radio Ranch. WOAI News Time, 720.
San Antonio's first news. Normally at this time, we connect with Mike Opelka from the Pure Opelka podcast, but fear not, we will be with Mike Opelka at 8:20 this morning, less than an hour from now. And we don't have Mike Opelka at the moment, but we do have the host of On the Record on KLRN television, which airs tonight at 7 o'clock. Among the guests, former Mayor Nelson Wolff, former county judge
former
Nelson Wolff,
state rep,
former
current
baseball
author,
professional Nelson Wolff.
writing a new book on baseball. I just
Oh,
found
really?
out as well. Another one.
Nice.
It's going to be a little more introspective. So,
Cool.
it's, as you mentioned, the motorcade, it was a little tough getting in
Yeah.
today. The paparazzi.
It's tough, isn't it?
And I'm interested to hear what Charlie's going to have to say about the election and today about how we deal with winning and losing. We were talking about that earlier. Because in the sports metaphor, winning and losing is different watching football at the end of the games now. They're a lot friendlier. Back in the day, and it seems like, I'm kind of resentful because, say, if you're a Cowboys fan, I'm not, but if they lost 3 in a row and suddenly they're hugging the guy they played with at LSU.
I hate that.
You just ripped my heart
Yes!
out. How can you hug that guy?
Yes.
I agree.
And I think some people are going through that right now with the election. And how close can you be? How much can you, we're teaching our kids about winning and losing, and usually we learn so much more when we lose.
But are we really teaching our kids about winning and
Whether-
losing when they're not keeping score and everybody gets a ribbon?
Just a ribbon? I mean, come on. But, Charity's got kids. What do you think they're going to take from this? Whether or not we think we're teaching them or not, they're watching us all the time and seeing how we deal with it. Are we spiking the ball and saying those losers, ha, 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 or I can't believe these people won? Or, how do you talk with your kids about the election, first of all, before the election, and then now afterwards when there's so much anxiety?
Well, luckily, they're too young to understand what's going on, and I'm going to try to hold off on having any kind of political discussions with them as long as I can so they can keep the peace. I think I'm going to just start with you got to vote. That's number one.
Amen.
And, especially when we talk about the overall voter turnout in the state was not what they thought it would be. I think just over 11 million voted this time around. That was a turnout of around 61%. For the state of Texas, 58% for Bexar County. And it shocks you when you see those numbers because there was such a push that this was such a consequential election. We had all these celebrity endorsements, the Taylor Swift factor, which resulted in a record number of new voter registration. And in the end, they just didn't deliver. They didn't make it to the ballot box, which is disappointing.
And it's going to take a while to figure all that out. And I think sometimes we talk about the kids, we should ask, and maybe not today, but the kids in the booth, the boys in the booth who aren't paying attention, EJ and Andrew, about
finally,
why,
Andrew's paying attention for once. He
why or
heard you.
why not? Did they vote, or what did they take away from this? I just wonder down the road, because I remember as a kid, and maybe you guys do too, on the playground, you would basically parrot what your parents
Oh gosh, yes.
felt.
Yes.
And we would
Mhm.
have, okay, and in my day, it was Humphrey Nixon. And,
Mhm.
you know, my first memory is JFK's assassination and that kind of stuff, and then Nixon and all that. So whether or not you teach your kids, Jared, I don't know how old they are, but, you know, they're going to have memories of this. And it's going to be interesting over the next few months as to how it's like, okay, we're getting back with the guy we broke up with.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
How's that going to? Oh my gosh! Wait,
It's always different the second time.
She
It
divorced
is.
him.
It
Now
is.
he's going to be moving back in, and it's going to be awkward. But anyway,
But this time it's different somehow. Yeah.
he'll be better.
Oh yeah, I promise, honey, I'll be better this time. Lots more coming up in the next half hour. 7:40 national correspondent Rory O'Neill. 7:50 Charlie Parker in studio. Charity coming at you with all the big headlines and stories on this Thursday, November 7th. WOAI News Time 7:25.
Hello. All right, and we're back.
So you've been reading all the
Hate. I mean, the stuff. Yeah. Yeah. He is a taper.
Oh.
How much does the low voter turnout have to do with the fact that the people just got inundated with the swing state, and they're going, oh well, yeah, come on, man, my vote doesn't count. You know, Texas is already a done deal.
Could be. I don't know. Maybe
I don't think it was apathy as much as people just didn't care.
I like to see. That's the kind of introspection that we need from the next generation of pundits.
Oh wait, he's crooked now. Are you leaning?
I
Or
am
what?
leaning.
Oh, okay. Okay, because like, damn, he's crooked.
Oh, is it okay if I lean to the left on OAI? I'm not
No,
sure.
no. We'll adjust that in post. We'll
Yeah.
adjust that in post. Don't worry.
We'll fix that.
Oh, it won't last long. Travis says, good morning, Randy.
Good morning, Travis. How are you?
And Eric says, good morning, Randy.
Good morning, Travis.
Good morning, Eric.
Good morning.
Yeah, Eric is our amazing photographer
Yeah,
of
you
veterans.
met him. Yeah, you met him.
Oh, he's the guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to have him
Look at
on
that.
Veterans Day.
Well, I can't believe they gave this guy a penalty for this. Look at this. It's beautiful.
Yeah, isn't
It's
it?
beautiful, man. And then, of course, the NFL guy had to copy it.
Yeah, I only saw the copying. I didn't realize it came from here until we
Yeah,
interviewed
Incarnate
the guy.
Word, yeah. And they gave him a penalty, man.
Yeah, that's
They're like, really? You should give him a medal.
UIW, the No Fun League.
Connie Chambers says, good morning, Randy.
Morning, people. How's everybody out there? Are our mics on?
Yeah.
Currently.
Yeah.
We can.
No,
Just-
that's fine.
Yeah,
I just wanted to.
Yeah, we're hot. We're hot. It's hot mic, hot mic. I mean, that's just beautiful, man. Come on. See, now they put their hats, it's upside down. So when he stands on their heads, you can read it. See, they're smart, man. These kids are in college for a reason, Randy.
I thought it was to drink heavily and to party. And
No, that's what the radio's all about.
Yes.
So with Rory, once again, you
Oh,
first. Does he have a rundown?
Yes,
Look, he's
I gave
talking
him a
about
rundown.
legalization of marijuana.
I gave him a rundown.
Okay. Let me tell Charity.
I took care of it. I gave him one.
Charlie, I saw him outside, but he hasn't been in.
Not in the.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
what we'll probably do with Rory, so we have more time with Charlie, is go 2 and out. One
Yep.
from Randy, one from Charity, and then wrap
Works
up.
for me. Works for me, yeah.
Okay.
It's like, see, I got to learn you guys should have a whiteboard in here. We're going to go 2 and out, and then you're going to come in. And you're going to,
I'm gonna go down and in, and I'm gonna.
We're going to go in the cluster. We got the diamond formation right. We're going to run a 3, 2.
We're using the triangle here, man.
65 toss power trap.
Yeah,
Cover
on
2.
2.
Yes.
Omaha.
They're going to throw this against us.
Omaha.
Yeah.
Oh, what was the new one? Lollipop.
Lollipop,
I
yes.
heard that the other day.
Yeah, I heard that one, and I heard also, was it Memphis or
I didn't
Nashville?
hear Lollipop. Was
I
that
heard
in the
Lollipop
NFL?
was on the, what game was that? That was a college, wasn't it?
The Nike? Yeah.
Yeah, it was college. But I heard Memphis on a pro game, and I went, oh, come on, copycats. Can't find another thing to say.
Well, I don't like Here we go.
I got it.
I hate that.
Okay, here we go.
It's not like, come on, be a little bit more.
Well, consider the source.
I got a shot of
Whiskey?
I have to show you. Yes. I was going to put this on, and I had to figure out what kind of.
We should send Randy our Yacht Rock video.
Oh, yeah.
I'll send it to him.
Okay.
I got it.
You gotta tell me what kind of font I should put on this. I was going to compare it to Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys fans. If I can find it. Okay.
Eric, that's very cool.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if you can tell what that is.
It's praying mantis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys fans
Yeah.
are like, because he's like this.
Oh, I know.
And his head's turning all the way around. And,
Spinning around. Oh, that's so cool. That's 1 year ago today. 1 year ago.
1 year ago today, he had a much more of a beard.
Had a long ass beard.
you had a kids show on the morning.
I did. I was Captain Gus.
The new Captain Gus.
The new Captain Gus, yeah. Captain Ross.
At the same time, you shouldn't have come near a school.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I told you that one of the reasons why I shaved it off is I have a great nephew who's like very, very shy. And I was at my sister's house and I'm sitting there in a chair eating a piece of pie and he comes walking up to me and he just crawls up into my lap and he sits there and he starts telling me what he wants for Christmas. And I said, okay, that's it. It's gone. So I shaved it off the day after Christmas, as soon as my duties were over.
Although that was kind of a weird Santa beard.
Well, no, it got better.
Well, maybe
no, it got better.
Norwegian.
I got a picture of it. It got better.
I think it's with the hat.
Well, the captain's hat didn't help much, but I got a better one here. I got a picture of my nephew actually sitting on my lap.
It's vaguely Viking.
Kind of Viking-ish, yeah.
How did you do the little thing at the bottom?
It just grew like that, man. It was a pain in the ass, I gotta be honest with you.
How do you kids do that?
It was not fun. Trust me.
I hadn't listened to this before. What was it?
The Yacht Rock Tuesday. Yeah, where is that fucking picture?
You guys had like costumes.
Yeah, see, there's another one.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Odelay. It's really good.
I don't think I've ever seen
It's like their answer to Mexican beer. It's really good.
It's cool.
It's really good. And then there we are at the coast, me, my wife, and my daughter. As you can see me in the background. Yeah. Yeah, see, this is how this all happened. We were at South Padre, and we're sitting there, me and my wife, and there's a guy coming out of the water, and he's got a beard. She goes, "Can you do that?" And I said, "I don't know." So I started doing it, and it was 17 months when I shaved it off.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't do it anymore.
You've never done it to that effect,
No,
extent, or you've done it?
No, I'd never
before?
done. No, it starts getting a little long, and I start trimming it. I can't stand it, and that was a lot. I had to oil it, and it was a lot of crap, man. Yeah, because if not, I'd wake up in the morning, man, and it'd be like this, be sticking out all over the place, like it was huge, and so I'd have to, take a shower, wash it, and then have to oil it down so it would stay down. It was a pain in the ass. Let me tell you, it was a pain in the ass.
Well, let's see. I'm to that point. I got to figure out what to do. My hair is going away, and it's white, and the beard is white.
See, this turned white when my oldest daughter, turned 13, like overnight.
Wow.
Overnight, because it used to be dark, and then my hair stayed dark, but my beard went white. And our old receptionist Nora asked me, "Do you dye your hair?" I should think about that. Why wouldn't I dye my beard if I dyed my hair? She goes, "Oh yeah, that's right." I said, "No, teenage daughter, that'll do it." Yeah,
got me a T-shirt, teenage daughter survivor.
Yeah. Well, I got one that my daughter got me. Says, "You don't scare me. I got 2 daughters."
Yes.
Yeah, you do not scare me.
Jacob, I have not heard anything new on the condition of Coach
I haven't
Pop.
either, man.
Have you
Heard
guys,
nothing.
Randy, you heard anything about Pop?
I
No.
not.
Yeah, the Spurs being the
Randy,
Spurs, they're
like this.
keeping it quite secretive.
All right.
Other side. You got
Certainly hope he's
dry
okay.
skin or something right there.
You know what? I had some zingers on the way in.
You got a piece on your
Good
lip.
morning,
right here.
sleepy.
Probably
On your lip.
greens and-
Yep, you're still there. Still there. I just don't want you to be on camera like that, man. That would just be
You know,
awful.
The other day, when I'm interviewing somebody, Nelson, he was doing this.
Oh.
yesterday.
Oh, wow.
I'm thinking, okay, is it something coming out?
Yeah.
Is it drippage?
Yeah.
I don't
So you
know.
got a piece of coconut like hanging off your lip right there. See it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep, you just moved it.
Oh, you know what that
It's
is?
a zinger.
No, I had the zinger, but it was the bluebell or something like blueberry
Okay.
cream
Okay.
cheese
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
You know, the Circle K then.
Mhm. Your Polar Pop provider.
Mhm.
It's very important to have a good Polar Pop provider.
You know, the Circle K app.
It helps, doesn't
I
it?
need to update that. That's weird. It just kind of showed up. You know, the good thing about Circle K, and they should sponsor this.
They should sponsor your segments,
if you
yes.
get one of those cards, you get 10 cents off a gallon.
Of gas?
My goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
That'll add up.
You only see them, and I haven't seen them in a long time, but they would give them out. They would have them right by the counter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know that
Everything
gas went up 50
Nice.
cents a gallon.
When?
Since last Friday, I paid $2.39 at the HEB at what used to be McCreela's. I stopped there day before yesterday. It was $2.89. So 5 days, it went up 50 cents.
It's all going to go down now.
Should be
With,
going down now.
with Trump now.
And there'll be those
29
stickers.
cents
There'll
a
be those
gallon.
stickers pointing to I did that.
I heard another media outlet this morning as I was coming in talking about what the cartels, they're all running scared, and he's coming in and daddy's back in town. And I think we're expecting a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, almost too much.
Yes.
Yeah. But,
They use the phrase "Daddy's back in town."
Daddy's back.
I love that. I love that.
Well-
Well, the cartels don't have to worry about anything here in Texas. Somebody's in bed with them because why else would they legalize pot? They're making too much money off of it.
What about casino gambling? Is that going to come up? We haven't heard anything about that.
Good question.
I think the odds are very slim.
Yes.
But I'll take your bet right here, right now.
Marijuana,
Never.
which passed everywhere, but South Dakota.
South Dakota, North Dakota, wasn't it? One didn't.
One day, South Dakota didn't pass.
Right, North Dakota
So
did.
one of the Dakotas has it. That'll be a
Yeah.
road trip.
Well,
for
Yeah, it'll
somebody in
take
the
a
other
couple
state.
minutes.
Yeah.
A couple minutes to get to the other
It
one.
was just medicinal.
Yeah, medicinal. Yeah, which seriously, you can get a script for that pretty easy.
Although, Greg Abbott, I remember him being really hardcore against the medicinal
He is.
stuff.
Yeah.
He is. There is a dispensary here in town.
Really?
Yes.
And why am I not shocked that you knew this?
Well, my doctor's been telling me to write me a prescription, but the qualifications for it, you have to be dying.
Oh,
You have to be like
really?
a cancer patient, so I can't get it.
How
but no.
wonderful. In Texas, you can have some if you're dying.
Yeah, if you're dying, we'll go ahead and let you,
Yeah.
so you'll forget
God.
that you're dying.
I took my middle daughter on one of those trips to college trips, and we went to New York and we went to LA because I didn't want her to go to
Right.
Wyoming with a boyfriend. And
Don't
I
blame you.
remember on Venice Beach, they were selling, the dispensaries. Back
Yeah.
at that time, it was just medicinal.
Right.
And man, my knees hurt.
Yeah. I'm
But
telling you, man.
I wasn't
You
gonna
can
go
get
there
you can get a
forever.
script like.
And they actually did.
Oh, I know. They give you scripts like nothing, man. You just have to come in and I have anxiety.
It doesn't
I have anxiety. They'll give you a script.
seem to be effective
Yeah.
for my osteoarthritis.
Have you tried this is serious. CBD has an oil or a
Mhm.
cream that you can put on there, and,
Yes.
and that usually works a little bit.
I haven't used it in a while. It didn't seem to work when I've tried it.
You got to do it for a couple days.
Wow.
You got to do it to get it in there.
As cold as it gets colder, I feel it more.
I got it bad. I got arthritis really bad, so I know.
Ah,
And hot makes it hurt. Cold makes it hurt. It's
Yes.
very few times where it doesn't hurt.
weather,
Yeah, it doesn't hurt sometimes, but most of the times it
when
does.
it's just humidity,
Yep. Or just being awake. I found that being
Yes.
awake makes it
when
hurt.
it's dry, when it's wet.
So once again, Randy, when I say his name, I'll say
Oh,
national
okay.
correspondent Rory O'Neill.
Say my name.
That's
Say
your
my
cue.
name.
Sure.
Still waiting. Uncle Charlie. And we'll do pegs at the end of the segment again?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Let me know when you see him.
Oh, not a yet.
Okay. I'm going to wrap the segment early, too, and
yeah,
like 44-ish.
Yeah, to get to
Okay.
To get to Uncle Charlie.
Yep.
Still waiting.
Okay.
But he's calling in right now. Stand by.
Beautiful. San Antonio's first news, Randy Beamer in studio with us until 9 o'clock this morning. She's Charity McCurdy. He's Mr. T, Tim Merriman. Charlie Parker will join us next at 7:50. Charlie's got some presidential trivia, among other things, coming our way. Right now, though, let's check in with national correspondent Rory O'Neill.
Rory, we had some interesting ballot propositions across the country that overshadowed, of course, by the presidential race. What did you find most interesting? Like we had some in about minimum wages going up that went up and passed some places we might not have expected.
Yeah, we saw minimum wage increases pass in Alaska and Missouri. So two states will see their minimum wages going up to $15 an hour. It's going to take until 2027 for the rule to be implemented in Alaska, January of 26 for Missouri. You know, it's interesting. We also had 11 different ballot measures across the country, all on abortion. I think this is going to be the new normal. You know, this was a record high number in a single year, but with the Dobbs decision and the overturning of Roe, that's how this is going to work now. It's all up to the 50 states. So we're going to see, I think, this swinging pendulum of expanding access, limiting access, changing the number of weeks, the limitations, restrictions, putting things in constitutions versus state laws that can be changed. So this was, I think, the first wave of these initiatives.
Rory, were there any notable gun-related ballot measures or propositions that dealt with criminal justice?
Well, criminal justice was a big topic in California. They were trying to put back in, and voters approved sort of a crackdown and implementing laws a bit more old school. Some prosecutors had been hands off when it came to some crimes like retail theft. But the voters there said, no, it's those kinds of things that lead, the shoplifting crimes that can lead to bigger crimes. So they're trying to have a crackdown and get more people, face the consequences of their actions. Also on the ballots, we saw 4 states voted on marijuana legislation. 3 of them considering recreational marijuana. They all failed in the Dakotas and in Florida.
Our thanks to national correspondent Rory O'Neill. And Randy, what he's talking about there, the recreational marijuana, it's just so amazing to me how different states just look at it so differently. I went to Oregon in September, and recreational marijuana is legal. So are psychedelic mushrooms. And there was a dispensary on every corner. It was like a Starbucks for a dispensary on every corner in Eugene, Oregon.
And I was surprised when I went to New Mexico. I had forgotten Taos, Santa Fe. They have dispensaries. Although in Colorado, some of them are closing. It's been around.
Well, there's too many.
So long that they're kind of contracting, and though you're keeping them alive apparently in Oregon.
I was only there for a week.
Charity, you planning any trips with the
what kind of trips, man?
Trips?
No, but speaking of that issue, a big headline statewide was that Dallas voters approved a proposition that decriminalizes less than, I think it was like 4 ounces of marijuana. So that's likely going to end up in a big fight with the state attorney general, who has, sued cities that have similar laws in place like this.
Well, how much is 4 ounces, Randy? Is that what, 250?
No idea. I didn't inhale. So what's going to happen, do you think, in Texas? Now, that's always, it's like, okay, Texas one day is going to turn purple or blue. It's never happened. But again, with marijuana, it's brought up, it's talked about every legislative session before 2025. Casino gambling, that kind of thing has been talked about a little. Do you think, Governor Abbott has been strongly against medicinal marijuana for years, and I think has been pushed more in that direction. But how many years will it be before you think that passes here?
I think eventually they're going to have to look at the data and see how much potential tax revenue that would raise. I think the numbers are too great to ignore. I would say probably 10, 15 years, maybe.
Wow.
We're going to be the last state
Yeah,
in the country.
Yeah,
I'm not planning on it in my lifetime. Coming up, Charlie Parker coming into the studio next. WOAI News Time, 7:44.
They and her friends went up to Colorado for a break.
Mike's on, by the way.
But it wasn't. And so I was asking her, did you go for that? No, we didn't go for that.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Well, when I was in
realize
Denver, I noticed, and this is a few years ago, it's like there were so many damn dispensaries. Yeah. Because when we first got there, because we were going to a Cubs game, Rockies, and we stayed right by the stadium. So we're walking downtown, and there's this big bar restaurant next to it. So we're in there, and I asked the waitress, because we've just gotten there. I said, hey, can you tell me where a dispensary is? And she goes, just anywhere you go, anywhere you want to go, you'll find one. There's one right across the street, there's one next door, there's one over here. And I went, I didn't look walking over there, but when I got out there, I looked, and they're every freaking where in Denver.
Interesting. And I don't know if it's Santa Fe or Taos, I drove by, and they were expanding one, but they're not all over. I think there was only one or two.
I think they did too many in Denver, because you're talking strip centers. There was one right next to our hotel. I didn't know that. And there was just too many of them. So I think that if you consolidate them, because there was some big ones when you got, towards the outskirts of Denver, there were some giant ones that, you go in and it was great. You walk around, they have all kinds of stuff.
I asked where one was in Vegas, closest to the hotel. They told me, so I got an Uber, went to it. And when I got in there, it was CBD.
Oh.
I didn't cover. I can get CBD at a
in Vegas.
7-Eleven.
Yeah.
In Vegas.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Planet 13.
They're off the
Planet 13. Yeah.
This time we were at the other.
Oh,
end
okay.
Of the strip.
Planet 13 is like the largest in the world.
It's pretty sweet.
It's pretty big too, right? Yeah.
It's impressive.
It's funny how us old guys know everything there is to know about the dispensaries. For those of you watching on YouTube,
for medicinal purposes.
Yes, for medicinal purposes. So it's a great pain reliever.
It work for pain relief?
Yes, it does.
Because
arthritis, I'm telling you, man, I swear by it.
I'm about to the point where I have to get a new metal knee in the left one. I had 3 in this one. I had another one.
So you got metal in the right, but not in the left?
No, both.
Oh, you got metal in both?
Yeah.
Well, metal shouldn't wear out. Should get titanium. It lasts longer.
Well, it's titanium, but there's also plastic and rubber in
yes.
This. And so you get 10 years, they say.
Oh, okay.
So
well, they need to come up with a better knee.
They do.
Yeah.
But
you should get one of those ones like Steve Austin had, so you can run faster, jump higher.
I wanted, when I had such pain, I was doing stories at BAMC and Center for.
Oh, they have those things that they can.
I was at the point of the pain. I was thought about, okay.
You want to be a Blade Runner?
Cut it off, be a Blade Runner. Because I couldn't walk, I couldn't run.
Well,
those guys are running and walking.
I have a friend of the family. He's known him since I was this little. He just lost both of his legs. And he lost them one at a time. And when he first got the first one off, he had a regular prosthetic. And I said, look, well, if they take the other one, you need to get those blades. And he goes, I don't know about that. Guess what? He's got the blades and he loves them. Really? He loves them. He goes, yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Those are like illegal. It's like those new shoes. Yeah. Have you seen the marathoners that have been disqualified because of the...
All right, stand by, guys. Stand by.
Morning, San Antonio. This is longtime listener Janet. You're asking how I feel about this? Let me tell you. I feel fine. Nothing but peace of mind. Oh, it was just awesome. Love these results. Time to take this country, turn it around, and let's get it right.
Janet is feeling good. Yeah. Very nice. Charity McCurdy, what stories are you following?
Well, yesterday we heard from Vice President Kamala Harris following her election loss, and today President Biden will address the nation. Following President-elect Trump's victory, the GOP is on the verge of controlling both chambers of Congress. And San Antonio City Councilman Mark White has accepted a plea deal in his DWI case. We'll have the details right now, traffic and weather.
Cloudy skies, showers this morning possible, and then it will fade off this afternoon, highs in the low to mid 80s. Tomorrow, showers early, cloudy in the afternoon, highs in the low 80s. Saturday, a mixture of clouds and sun, highs in the upper 70s. It is 69 degrees here at the Radio Ranch. WOAI News Time, 7:50.
San Antonio's first news, Randy Beamer has already been with us in studio. If you're watching the YouTube stream, you already know Charlie Parker in studio. Charlie, good morning.
Good morning.
I understand you might have some presidential trivia for us.
Yes, I do. Randy Beamer said something the other day that prompted today's quiz. So if you want to hold someone responsible, there's your guy.
I didn't know there would be a quiz.
Yeah, we blame a lot of things on
Well, I
Randy,
didn't know there was
so.
going to be one either until I heard what he said.
I'm sorry,
You know, then I
kids.
went and started looking some stuff up, and
Thanks, Randy.
kind of interesting
Yeah.
information here, I think. Get out your Big Chief tablets and your number 2 pencils.
Can I borrow
This
a
will
pencil?
be hopefully this will be, some of it's probably already in your history book, but in the future, some things that happen on Tuesday will be in your history book. When it comes to the President of the United States of America, how many total presidents have been elected to more than one term consecutively?
Consecutively or not? Okay.
Consecutively.
More than one term consecutively. I'll say 12. That's a wild guess.
I'll go 10.
In Washington.
I'll go
Jerry,
eight.
go ahead.
8.
I'll go. We've had 47. Okay, so I think it's higher than 8. I'd say 14.
You're closer. It's 17. folks.
Way to go, Randy.
FDR,
Suck up.
3 terms consecutively. And then there were 16 other presidents that served 2 terms.
Okay.
We had 2 presidents of the United States that served a total each of 6 years as president. Who and why? Why 6? And who were they?
It wasn't. Okay, so
No, it wasn't
McKinley's
Ford,
assassinated.
no.
That was Lincoln's 5, 4.5. Yeah.
I would like to use a lifeline.
Call a friend.
Yes, can I phone a friend?
Yeah. 2, Calvin Coolidge, who was the vice president under Harding.
Okay.
Then when Harding died, Coolidge took over, served 2 years, and then was elected.
Okay.
So total of 6 years. The other, one of you said it. I can't remember which one, but
Ford.
and then you skipped past it. LBJ.
Oh, LBJ. Okay.
6 years. 2 years after JFK
Yes.
was
Okay.
assassinated.
Okay.
Yes.
And then he was elected. Here's my favorite one. How many presidents of the United States of America have we had that were not elected?
Samuel Johnson, Gerald Ford.
Johnson's not one.
Oh, wait.
3.
Ford is.
Oh,
you
he
got
was
3.
later.
You got
3.
Ford.
3.
Not elected.
That were not elected.
Yeah, I'm out after Randy's Gerald Ford.
Now does that you mean not elected ever or initially not elected?
Initially not elected.
Oh, well, that
Became
changes
president
it.
without
Okay.
being
now-
elected.
I'm just
gonna say
president
one.
without being elected.
Charity says 1. I'm going to go with Charity. 1.
No,
Well, and when
you got Teddy
Lincoln was
Roosevelt,
assassinated, was it
Johnson?
Oh, he
Johnson?
was already done.
Okay.
Total of 4.
Oh, man.
John Tyler, Millard Fillmore, Chester
Millard.
Arthur, who became president after Garfield was assassinated.
Chester A. Arthur.
Yes.
He was a
And
big
I was
A.
trying to expedite
I
things.
know.
Leon
And-
Gogol, so I know it was him that killed him. Okay.
And Gerald Ford, who served 3 years after Nixon
Resigned. Yeah.
resigned.
Gerald R. Ford.
And
Gerald R. Ford. Thank you.
here is the information that when Randy said what he did the other day that prompted all of this. So once again, hold him responsible. How many presidents of the United States have been elected more than once, but not consecutive?
2.
Well, you have Donald Trump now, and you
2 is
had
correct.
And Harding.
Grover
Grover
Calvin
Cleveland.
Coolidge.
Grover Cleveland. So
Yeah.
y'all were paying attention when
Okay.
Randy
Yes.
said that
Yes,
the
we
other day.
did.
I
Yes.
remember
Actually, Charity told me.
that. Are you
That's how I
a
remember.
presidential historian? Do you get into the politics and history?
Not really.
Yeah.
You know, like when I'm playing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or Jeopardy and the category or the
I would-
question is a
I
presidential
would
one.
think you're pretty
Um,
good at Trivial Pursuit.
Oh, I'm damn good at trivia.
Ah.
Yeah, but Well, in some
categories,
some categories, depends on what they are. And quickly, before I get out of here, Parker's picks last week, I was 3-0.
Oh, whoa.
I had SMU over Pitt. I had Ohio State over Penn State. And I had Army to beat Air Force.
That SMU game was good.
That was my third 3-0 week.
Congratulations.
Actually, I was 5-1 because remember, I made 3 election predictions.
That's true.
Do those count?
Yeah, sure.
Even though it wasn't football?
Yeah,
It's Parker's
Okay,
pick.
well, I was right on Trump getting the electoral vote. I was
Right.
wrong on Harris having the popular vote.
Right.
And I was right on Javier getting sheriff.
Javier
That's right.
Salazar,
That's
yes.
right.
So I was 5-1 last week.
Okay, so that's a pretty good week.
Week 11, here are my picks. Number 5, Texas to beat Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Number 11, Alabama to win at number 15, LSU. That is a night game
It's a
in Baton
big game.
Rouge.
That's a big game.
The loser's done.
Yes.
Loser's got no prayer of getting into the playoffs.
Yikes.
And my upset special is number 16, Ole Miss at home to beat number 3, Georgia.
Oh,
Wow.
man, that would be good.
Wow.
That would
Until
be good.
somebody can show me that Jackson Dart
Jackson
can't
Dart?
throw 5 touchdowns in a game,
Yeah.
then I'm riding the
Wow.
I'd
Jackson
agree
Dart.
with you on
Wow.
all of those,
Train.
although I have to just say, because my son's an LSU Tiger,
Yeah, I know.
that I have to go with him, although I commiserate with him every week.
Well, that's actually kind of like a tossed up.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be a good
Toss
game.
up
That's
game.
going
Oh,
to
at
be a really
home
good game.
in
Yes.
Death Valley
At night.
at night.
Yes. The cocktail
There's-
party starts like
And
today.
after we've started the thing of throwing water bottles on the field. And after the storming of the field, and where was it last week?
South Carolina.
South
Yeah.
Carolina. LSU wants to keep up with that.
We've talked about this before that I've
Somebody-
said many times that somebody's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Did you notice in the South Carolina charge onto the field that a girl got her leg
Yes, I did.
stuck
I
in a
saw that.
hedge?
I saw that. Yeah.
Climbing over, got stuck in a hedge, and
Yeah.
you think anybody stopped to help her?
Oh, heck no.
No, it must have been 15 people just trampled right over
They're
her.
like, yeah,
Huh.
you stopped. I'm going. Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah,
see
it's
that.
like, people, come on.
Our thanks to Charlie Parker. We will post his picks at WOAI.com. Look for Parker's picks. Click into San Antonio's First News. You'll see a Charlie Parker link where you can track and follow and perhaps use Parker's picks. Lots more coming up. Charity has everything you need to know at the top of the hour. Don't forget, Mike Opelka going to join us at 8:20. WOAI News Time, 7:58.
Yeah, I think you're right about Bama.
We're back.
LSU. They're
Watch out.
done.
Mics are hot.
Yeah, the news is done.
Yeah, I agree.
I could be 30-0
Wow.
because it ain't hard to find games that
Yeah.
are
In college?
yeah.
Oh, in
that are
college,
gonna
yeah.
be blowouts, and you can pick.
Yeah.
The, you know,
True.
I try to find stuff that's
That's a little bit closer,
yeah,
like a pick 'em.
Ole Miss, Jackson Dart was playing just out
A
of his
one-time
mind.
USC Trojan. He started
That's-
his
that's
college
right.
career with USC, and
I can't keep up with all the
yeah, so
portal
much.
stuff.
I know. I hate
quarterback. I
that,
don't
man.
think-
I hate that.
By the
I hate it.
third, by their third college and their seventh year, and I don't know. But-
Yeah. How can you play 7 years?
Yeah, or when are we going to get past the COVID exception?
Yeah.
Is that
Well, but now with
it's
NIL,
almost
my
done, yeah.
gosh, the longer you can stretch that,
Yeah.
unless you're a surefire
Especially
NFL
if you're
prospect.
married and got 3 kids and you're playing you're a kicker for I forget who that guy was. He's a kicker. It's like 32 years old and he's got a wife and 3 kids and he's playing college football.
Wow.
I didn't see you or hear you the other day about the Cowboys. What's your take
They're
on
done.
the Cowboys?
I'm looking for a new team after 60.
Might I suggest the Detroit Lions?
Yeah, they're high on my list. of being
I like
good.
Detroit Lions. They got the same color, so
Yeah, I was
basically just
already
rip the
a
star
Texans
off your hat and put a
fan.
D in.
Similar
You're,
colors.
you're golden.
But I need an NFC team because I'm not an AFC fan.
Well, that's the Lions.
Yeah.
That works. Works. Like I said, just rip the stars off your hats and put a D on it, and you're done.
How about getting one in San Antonio / Austin? Finally, if Jerry Jones ever goes away and the NFL.
You mean when he dies?
Well, yeah.
When he's done, his son's going to take over. It's
Steven
gonna be the
becomes
same
Jerry.
crap
That's
all
pretty
over
much it. Yeah, Jerry Light.
Or continually.
But Tom Brady's now in the mix as an owner, so he could.
Yeah.
You and Giselle can use your pull on Tom Brady saying it's okay. We need one in South Texas. The international
By the way,
Mexico
Giselle's
connection.
pregnant.
And
by the way.
I heard Jiu-Jitsu man did more
Yeah,
than
Jiu-Jitsu
t-shirt.
man, taught a little bit more than moves, if you know what I mean.
Too bad Elon Musk doesn't want to own, because Elon's big on Texas.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Too bad he doesn't want to own an NFL.
Call him the
As
X's?
far as we know.
Maybe.
What do y'all think of the new Spurs play-by-play guy on TV?
These are on right now. Tim?
Oh.
What's that?
Uh-oh.
There's a signal.
I haven't heard. I haven't seen.
What's
What
that?
do you think? I just wanted, in case he said something.
Oh.
Let's San Antonio's first news. Our thanks to Charlie Parker. We got Parker's picks. We got a lot of presidential trivia. Got a big 8 o'clock hour on tap that we are into already. Randy Beamer in studio for the rest of the hour. Mike Opelka from the Pure Opelka podcast at 8:20. We'll check in with Joe Pags at 8:40, get a preview of the Joe Pags show. But first, let's get you caught up on traffic and weather together.
Some showers this morning, and you won't see very many this afternoon, but you may see a few. Highs in the low 80s. Tomorrow, showers early, mostly cloudy conditions later in the day, highs in low 80s. And on Saturday, a mixture of clouds and sun, highs in the upper 70s. 70 degrees in Floresville, 70 at Snake Farm, and 69 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time 8:10.
San Antonio's first news, that's Mr. T. She's Charity McCurdy. I'm Chris Duell. Randy Beamer in studio. Don't forget tonight, we'll talk more about it a little bit later in the hour, his program On the Record, 7 o'clock tonight on KLRN. In fact, let's talk about it for a second. We're going to talk about it later, but the headliner, you are the headliner. However, Nelson Wolff, the legendary Nelson Wolff tonight.
And he was giving his take on not just what happened nationally, but more important, statewide and locally, because he was a state rep as a county judge and mayor. He has to work with Austin, and he kind of looked ahead, as well as with Andrea Drush, who is a reporter for the San Antonio Report, on what's going to happen with school vouchers. And, there's a lot of hope on the people with the public education supporters against school vouchers, that here in San Antonio, there might have been a swing against Mark LaHood because he was against Steve Allison, the Republican. Steve Allison was a public school supporter. Well, not only did Mark LaHood win, but also another one, and other places in Texas, the school voucher supporters did better than expected. So Abbott has gained more support for school vouchers. So there is more of a swing maybe to the right in the legislature, and we're looking ahead. And so in San Antonio, say in the Mark LaHood race, instead of being a possibility that he wouldn't make it, that he may be more important as a voice from San Antonio in the legislature than expected. So that whole pendulum of a storyline has changed. And I know Charity's going to be watching all that stuff in Austin for the next years and years and years. Your take?
I'm going to be locked in. I'm going to be locked in, and I have a feeling Governor Abbott will be able to accomplish a lot of what he wants to do when the legislature reconvenes in January. He clearly has more than enough votes to pass a school voucher bill.
And that's one of the things, speaking of Abbott, that we didn't really talk about much. His influence on the national election, because he bussed all those immigrants all over the country.
Yeah.
Trump could thank him big time.
Bigly.
He, at one point we talked about him as a possible vice presidential pick. I think Trump had said he's much too important in Texas, but it'd be interesting to see his profile nationally now as we hear names about who's going to be picked. Is Paxton going to be picked? Patrick, he's older, but some of the people here in Texas, because they have done so well, it's more right wing, it's more Trumpy. What happens? Who goes? Ron Nirenberg would have maybe in a Harris administration.
Yeah.
Who goes on from Texas now in a Trump administration?
And I think Mayor Ron Nirenberg, I think it's going to be fascinating now that he's term limited out. He certainly, I believe, has bigger political aspirations. His next move, does he run for Congress? What's he going to do next? I think it's going to be absolutely fascinating. Coming up, we are going to check in with Mike Opelka. Normally, he's at 7:20 in the morning with us, but he has been on assignment all week long, and we're happy to have him at 8:20, and great to have him with Randy Beamer on board as well. Mike Opelka joins us next. WOAI News Time, 8:14.
And we're back.
Yeah, I really thought in a Harris administration, just like Julian Castro in an Obama administration. I thought we would have seen
Thought we'd
Nirenberg
see,
get a
you know,
position.
from Henry Cisneros to Julio
Yep.
Castro to Ron Nirenberg, and then
I've got to talk back with the bumper going in the headlines, right? Cool with that?
although you know,
Did you give him Opelka copy? Or
Yes.
Okay.
yes,
I did.
And again, it's so
Yeah, you
anything
can ask him
election,
anything.
certainly.
Those
Sure.
are just
You're
guidelines.
not stuck to that
Once
at all.
again, you can throw away that first page. I just
I mean, there's so much on here.
And again, we're going to go Randy
Andy,
first, Charity,
and
then
we'll just
around the
go
horn.
this way. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll make sure she knows that.
But now Nuremberg, you know, I'll have to ask him about this. I've told you before. He wanted his dream job was NFL Films.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
So
It's everybody's dream job.
what was interesting is his dad lives here apparently, or at least has been here, and he came up to me after the Gooder and said, "You know, I watched you on KLRN on the record. I didn't know you were so funny because it was more shtick at the Gridiron."
Yeah.
And it was interesting to see that his dad lives here and his son, you know, and so he's got family here. But what is he going to do? His son's getting closer to college age. But is he too moderate?
Oh, yeah.
It's
a great-
I think
great point.
The election taught us that you got to get
Yeah.
the media by being out there. You
Yes.
have to be I don't want to say a Dan Patrick or an Abbott, but just the media.
You mean crazy and psycho?
The right-wing media is friendlier to those who are
Sure.
more out there.
So NFL Films, what does he want to do? Voice him
He
or?
wanted to be a producer.
Oh, okay.
So he had
Okay.
gone to Annenberg School of Communication.
Very cool.
Penn State or Pitt or something. And
It's John
graduated.
Facenda.
He was offered a job
Really?
at NFL Films.
And he turned it down to become mayor? What the heck, man?
No, he turned it down because of a woman.
Oh, well, that's even
He
worse.
will tell you
That's
this. He
even
had just
worse.
started dating.
There's no woman worth a job at NFL Films. Come on.
He said there is, and so he made so many points when I did this interview with him. I said, "Was it really worth it?" Yes. And so Erica was
I don't
thrilled.
know.
But you know,
John Facenda was God.
John Vicenda.
He was
And this
was
back
God,
in-
man.
And why? Because he was a sports intern at Trinity at Channel 4 when he
So
was
now
at
it's what's his
Trinity.
name? It's the Sables now. Chris and the Steve, and I think his
Who's-
son.
who's
Yeah,
still there.
Sable. I think his son is there now.
I
Yeah.
thought it was ESPN that he wanted his dream job, and then he corrected.
Oh,
me. He
okay.
said, no, it's NFL Films.
NFL Films would be awesome.
But
That would be awesome.
I
Would
was
love to do that.
always impressed by their camera work.
Yeah,
It's so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they were very good. All right.
And use of music. I
Yes.
mean, my
Yes.
God.
The power and the glory. Dun, 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 dun,
Since,
yeah.
since the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field.
It's almost like the halftime highlights in Monday Night Football with Howard Cosell. If I was good and didn't get any trouble, my mom would let me stay up till after those were done, and then I have to go to bed. Man, I love those things because we didn't have all the games on TV back then. You had 1 or 2 games maybe.
Grandpa, what was it like?
Hey guys, Stephen from Lotto. I'm very excited. The fact that Trump won so resoundingly. People are tired of all the nonsense. And people I know are excited. They're excited that he won so well. But the other side is worried about stuff. I've been reading comments and looking at different social media. They're worried about stuff that he's either never talked about or never did on his first term. So what are they concerned about? Are they afraid of lower prices and better economy?
Our friend Stephen from Lytle on the talkback. Coming up, Mike Opelka. We continue with Randy Beamer in studio. Charity, what stories are you following?
President Biden will address the nation this morning following his vice president's big loss. President-elect Trump is putting together a transition team before his inauguration on January 20th. And today, the Fed makes its highly anticipated announcement on interest rates. We'll have the very latest right now, traffic and weather.
May see a few showers this morning, this afternoon, cloudy with occasional rain. Highs in the low to mid 80s tomorrow. Cloudy, warm, highs in the low 80s. Saturday, a mixture of clouds and sun, highs in the upper 70s. It is 71 degrees in Leon Valley, 71 at the Pearl, and 70 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 8:20.
San Antonio's first news. Normally, he joins us at 7:20, but we will take him whenever we can get him. He is Mike Opelka from the Pure Opelka podcast. He's brought to us by Randy Adams Incorporated. And Mike, Randy Beamer has a question for you.
How the heck are you, Mike? First of all, the real question is, are you going to take the next 4 years off as a conservative pundit now that you have correctly predicted, enthused, supported, whatever? How is your life going to be different now?
Well, it depends, Randy. If I get that plum job I'm angling for within the administration, I may step away from the microphone. But
you ever thought about that?
Yeah, I have. And we were talking about it yesterday, and I said, I don't want to work for the president. I want a job where you don't have to do much. The expectations are low.
So you're running for Congress?
VP. No, VP. I want to work in the VP's office.
Nice. Well, then he becomes president in 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be funerals for world leaders. We'll get to go on those. But they don't expect too much. You got to go over to the Senate every now and then and sign off on something. That could be good.
Ambassador. But that was actually an option for you? I mean,
No.
in your
Nobody's
mind?
hiring me. I have too much. You've heard about my past at
That's
Trinity.
true.
I've heard the stories,
Can't be
Randy.
vetted.
Can you imagine the Senate confirmation hearing? Mr. Opelka, we have a photograph of you in a lizard suit and a girl is jumping off a roof.
At least it'll be interesting.
Yes. Now, Mike, needless to say, the left is not handling this loss well. But I guess the good news is we haven't seen any violent protests. Why do you think that is?
Well, they're all tired first. I do believe we're going to see a similar attempt to organize ahead of the inauguration, the way we did with the International Women's Protest after Hillary Clinton lost in 2016, and then 2017 they gathered in thousands on the mall. So I anticipate there'll be something there. There are a couple of organizing pockets of progressive groups that are saying they want to push against Trump. But there is already an established group that is looking at the midterms, because with the Senate gone, the Trump presidency 2.0 will be able to have unfettered ability to push through judicial appointments. And they need to stop that after 2 years. So that's their plan, is to try and regain control of the Senate. And that's going to be a big thing. And they're also worried about the Supreme Court, because there's whispers that Clarence Thomas might step down, and Justice Sotomayor is not healthy. And that would give Trump 2 more appointments, and they would just spin themselves into the ground if that happened.
And Mike, I'm very intrigued at the role Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will have in this Trump administration. He's already talking about dismantling a lot of the Food and Drug Administration. What do you think he will do once he's a part of this administration?
Well, I think he's going to start with accountability and efficiency, Chris. I talked to Byron Donalds just about an hour ago and asked him a similar question about what's going to happen next. And he said, well, Congress had its control of the purse of all these 3-letter agencies taken away about 20 years ago when they stopped enforcing it. And that's where we've gotten to this bloated bureaucracy with all of these people getting all of these millions and billions of dollars. And I think Kennedy's going to work to throw the corporate entities out of the FDA and out of our foods and our drugs, and try and get it back to what it was supposed to be, instead of this corporate-driven agencies. And so I think we're going to see efficiency and a reduction in costs overall.
All right, Lizard King, do you think Jack Smith is panicking yet?
Oh, my God. Jack Smith was panicking at 1:48 2 mornings ago. Yeah, this is interesting. But everybody's focused on Jack Smith going to drop all these prosecutions. If he does that, if he is allowed to do that before Donald Trump takes office, I anticipate he's going to put out a report along the lines of the Mueller report in an attempt to put out some pretty damning statements. And he'll be allowed to do that if it's under Biden. But if he's in office and still doing his job after Trump is sworn in, they'll be just eliminated. He won't be able to do that. So I think this is a shot for them to take one more punch at Donald Trump.
Project 2025 has a lot of people in it that are already pre-vetted for their loyalty, their support. We've heard, the president distance himself from that, but how much of that is actually going to work and be implemented now, at least, the staffing?
Well, the reality is it's a Heritage Foundation project. And yes, Trump has distanced himself from it. It's a massive document. But if only one paragraph of Project 2025 is implemented, they will scream for days on the left. Trump is bringing in the monitors of all pregnancies and all that other nonsense. So the administration, in my opinion, needs to be very careful and tighten down on this and prevent even any of that from being tied to Project 2025, anything they do. And that's going to be a tough call because there's a lot of actual real conservative policies in there that make sense.
You can get more Mike Opelka from his Pure Opelka podcast. Get it wherever you get your podcast. We recommend the free iHeartRadio app. Another episode will drop this morning. You want to make sure you listen to that. Mike, brought to us by Randy Adams Incorporated. Coming up, more with Randy Beamer in studio. We'll get a preview of the Joe Pags Show from Joe Pags in the next segment. And Charity McCurdy coming at you with all the big stories on this Thursday, November 7th. She's got that at the bottom of the hour. WOAI News Time, 8:26.
8:30 is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Thursday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, President Biden will address the nation this morning. SAPD is investigating an officer-involved Southside shooting. We'll have details first, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your weather forecast: showers this morning, tapering off for the afternoon, a high near 84. Slight chance of rain tonight, a low near 70. Right now, 70 degrees. Following Donald Trump's big victory on Tuesday, Vice President Kamala Harris delivered a concession speech from Howard University in D.C. yesterday, signaling that the fight to improve American lives continues.
While I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign.
Harris says she called now President-elect Trump to congratulate him and discuss the importance of a peaceful transfer of power and being a president for all Americans. President Biden, meantime, will address the election results when he speaks to the nation later this morning. Here's Fox's Ryan Schmelz.
The speech comes just a day after Vice President Kamala Harris officially conceded to President-elect Trump by phone and during a concession speech at Howard University. The White House says President Biden spoke to both candidates and congratulated them on their races. President-elect Trump was also invited to meet with the commander-in-chief at the White House. According to the White House, the president expressed his, quote, commitment to ensuring a smooth transition and emphasized the importance of working to bring the country together. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
The Justice Department is evaluating how to wind down Trump's criminal cases after he won the election. It's because of a policy that a sitting president cannot be prosecuted. The cases center around his actions leading up to the January 6th Capitol riot and his handling of classified documents. We still don't know if Democrats or Republicans are going to be in control of the U.S. House. Here's Fox's Jill Nato with more.
AP says getting the final tallies on several hard-fought House races from New York to California could still be days away. We do know 2 races in Virginia have been decided, but neither party gained any ground because of them. Republican Representative Jen Kiggins won re-election in southeastern Virginia, while Democrat Eugene Vindman won a seat in the northern part of the state. Vindman and his brother Alexander played roles in President-elect Trump's first impeachment. House Speaker Mike Johnson's been saying he's optimistic the House will stay in GOP control. Jill Nato, Fox News.
President-elect Trump is putting together a transition team before his inauguration on January 20th. He'll have to fill around 4,000 government positions, including 1,200 that require Senate approval. That should be easier with the Senate now also under Republican control. Trump and his Republican allies managed to ride a red wave of support from the Hispanic community. Congresswoman Monica De La Cruz, who also won re-election, says that focusing on the economy was a winning message in her Texas border district.
We are talking about kitchen table issues, a strong border, and the cost of living.
And that tracks with a pre-election poll done by the Pew Research Center. It found that the main concern among Hispanic voters was the economy, followed by healthcare and violent crime. Exit polling showed that Trump got about 45% of the Latino vote. That's a more than 10% increase compared to 4 years ago. And with the election over, the cleanup begins. Rex Oates has details.
Drive around town, you'll see a lot of campaign signs still hanging from the fences. If the candidates don't want them, Bexar County Elections Coordinator Jackie Callanan says some groups are collecting them. They're prized by public school art teachers.
Because they like that core plastic or whatever those signs are. and they use it for their classes. So we thought that was pretty smart.
She just wants the signs down. Some are obscuring the vision of drivers, and that's dangerous. The San Antonio Waste Management Department says the signs can't be recycled. They need to go in the brown trash cans. I'm Rex Oates, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
A man with a lengthy record is hospitalized after pointing a gun at an SAPD officer who fired a shot and wounded the suspect last night. Chief William McManus says the suspect evaded police earlier in the day until another officer tried to pull him over.
He attempted a traffic stop. The suspect finally stopped. He didn't stop immediately. And when he did stop, as the officer approached, he pointed a gun out the window at the officer, a handgun.
McManus says the officer fired at the suspect and hit his shoulder. The suspect was hospitalized. The officer has about 2.5 years on the force. No word on charges. San Antonio is the host city for the 2025 men's and women's HBCU All-Star Basketball Games. Mayor Nierenberg and Travis Williams, CEO of the game, made the announcement during a press conference yesterday. The games are scheduled for Sunday, April 6th at Freeman Coliseum between the NCAA men's Final Four games at the Alamo Dome on Saturday and Monday. The games will involve the best 24 male and 24 female student athletes from historically Black colleges and universities. It is 8:37. Traffic and weather together in a minute. But first, a check of your money in the world of business. Courtney Donahoe is live at the Bloomberg News Desk. Thanks, Courtney. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Traffic and weather coming up.
San Antonio's first news, Charity McCurdy, Mr. T, Tim Merriman. I'm Chris Duell. In studio, Randy Beamer. Tonight, 7 o'clock on KLRN television. You don't want to miss his program On the Record. We talked about Nelson Wolf, a guest with Randy tonight. Randy, I understand also new San Antonio fire chief, the first woman ever to be in that role. Valerie Frausto going to be with you.
She has an interesting story that has kind of gone under the radar, at least right now, because of the election. She grew up in San Antonio. Her uncle was a firefighter. Thought it was interesting, but never thought about it because nobody ever mentioned to her. And there's only now still 5 or 6% of the fire department here that are women. It was criticized recently, all kinds of different news about being a boys' club. And so her talking about how she met at Rolling Oaks Mall, a woman who was a fire department, and she never thought about a recruiter. Wow, that'd be kind of cool. So she, after, I don't know, this is 2001, she's been in the department for a while.
Wow.
She's 51 years old. But she has a fascinating story, and she talks about that. And there are still those jobs out there that women our daughters don't think about.
Like what? Like what?
Like firefighters.
And another one?
And,
Police, maybe?
No, I think it's news radio person.
Radio news anchor.
Charity, how did you get into that? Did you ever think about being a firefighter?
Oh, that would be a fascinating job, a hard job. And I was fascinated with Valerie Frosto's story. And it's a rigorous process she went through. She had to beat out at least 60 other candidates during the interview process. It was amazing. But I mean, not surprising at the same time when you consider she's held several leadership positions within the San Antonio Fire Department. So something definitely to be proud of. I'm excited for what's ahead. But personally, radio was initially my leg in to do television, Beamer. But
I know people.
I know you know people, but no, I had a
many
brief
of them still
stint.
work in TV anymore because they're older than 20.
Yeah.
But, I'm sorry.
But radio's way cooler, I found out.
I think it is too.
So
It is cooler,
But
Charity. You're right.
Do you still want to get into TV?
I don't think so. No. Although I feel like I'm already on TV
Thank
with
you.
the YouTube live stream.
Right.
So I mean, it's kind of been combined in a sense. But I understand that they get paid a lot better. I don't know.
I'm sorry. All over the microphone.
Only if you can make that Randy Beamer money.
Which is like Monopoly. Like that.
Was it the
No, did
mustache?
you guys, Chris, you've done TV.
A little.
Yeah. Mr. T.
I was on an episode of Cops once. No, I'm just kidding. I was not.
I remember you.
I was not.
The guys with the
I had my
tats.
shirt on, so it wasn't a felony.
You ever think about getting back into TV, Chris?
Interestingly, I was at where you are, KLRN, did a show there
That's
called
right.
SciTech Now about science and technology. It was fun.
What happened to that show?
When COVID happened, because
COVID
it was
ruins
a
everything.
national show where we do a local segment, but we'd have 3 national segments. So when COVID hit, you couldn't go to places and do these segments. So it kind of went away nationally and locally.
Bummer.
That stinks. Well, now, Andrea Drush, speaking of which, who also I interviewed yesterday about elections, works for the San Antonio Report. She did a show there, an interview show on KLRN. So because you need people that have some background and know the city, and a lot of the younger people don't. So Charity, again,
He's recruiting
not
you right
only
here on
am I
the air.
providing therapy for you, especially on Fridays when you need it, but I'm recruiting you. You should be on TV.
Yes.
Andrew was taking a drink and he was doing a spit take in the booth, but he should be on TV as well. I think you should do a talkback segment on Charity. Should she be on TV?
Oh, wow.
I like it. I like it.
Tomorrow on the show.
What channel and what capacity? What will her show be?
That could be dangerous.
Yes.
Charity's channel. What's the Charity channel?
She should have her own channel, actually.
Yes.
It should be
Yes.
all Charity all the time.
I always thought it would be cool to have one of those gigs where you go around and there's a new restaurant in town opening up and you're interviewing the owner and sampling the food, like
You're
the
not
treasures of
taking
San
Tangi's
Antonio.
job. Tangi,
No.
great taste with Tangi. How dare you?
I didn't say anything about
She
wine.
just had her on
Okay.
the show a week ago, and you want her job now.
Wow. You could also you could kind of combine that with a behind the kitchen door. What's good? And,
Oh.
and what
Can we
kind
see?
of roaches?
Yeah.
With
No.
Brian Collister. Brian Collister.
Gotta
with
have a
the
fuzzy mic,
and
yes.
Charity.
Hollis
Charity goes in the front
Hollis
door.
Grizzard.
Hollis goes in the back door.
And I'm presenting
Excuse
blue
me?
plates and yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay.
Very cool. More job counseling, more career counseling from Randy for Charity coming up.
I'll be
But
gone soon. Don't worry.
First, let's check in with Joe Pags of the Joe Pags Show. Joe, I know you're still all over this election, and you will be this afternoon. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Chris. That's right. Everybody's still talking about the election. I'm guessing they'll be talking about it from now until January 6th and then right through the inauguration on January 20th. We had three great guests yesterday. Mike Davis broke down the lawfare cases against President Trump. He explained about how they're probably all going to go away, save for the one in New York that we're still watching. Go and check out that interview over on the podcast. Also had Megyn Kelly on, how she went full circle with Donald Trump from asking that infamous question in 2015 to now in 2025 on the stage where she endorsed him and helped him win. Plus, we had House Judiciary Committee Chair Jim Jordan talking about how Donald Trump now has a mandate. He explained what that means. Again, check all those out over in the podcast. We're working on several angles. Roger Stone wants to come on, but he's got laryngitis because of the election. We're going to try to bring him on today. We've got Tracy Beans, who's always breaking down great investigative journalism and a lot more. The Joe Pag Show today at 5. News Radio 1200 WOAI. See you then.
Good morning, San Antonio. This is Jeff. Good morning, guys, and you too, Randy. I'm pretty excited, pleasantly surprised at the outcome, all the way across the board. San Antonio's still bluer than I want it to be, but it is what it is. But otherwise, I'm excited. I think we may have some fun things or some good things happen for the country. Y'all be safe. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jeff, for the talk back. Charity McCurdy, what are you following?
After Vice President Kamala Harris's concession speech yesterday, President Biden has an election-related speech planned for today. The race for control of the U.S. House is still undecided, and Texas voter turnout dropped from the 2020 election despite record registration. We'll have the latest right now, traffic and weather.
Cloudy with occasional showers this afternoon, highs in the low to mid 80s. Tomorrow, showers early, mostly cloudy later in the day, highs in the low 80s. And then on Saturday, a mixture of clouds and sun, highs in the upper 70s. It is 69 degrees here at the Radio Ranch. WOAI News Time, 6:52.
San Antonio's first news, once again, tonight, 7 o'clock on KLRN television. On the Record with Randy Beamer, former county judge. He's had so many other roles.
You are a county judge?
Wolf.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, no, Randy should be a county judge.
You should.
New San Antonio fire chief, the first woman fire chief ever, Valerie Frosto. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
I think it's Frausto.
Frausto.
I try to professionally mispronounce names on that show and get their titles wrong.
Do you have to go to school for that?
Yes, that's right, Tim.
And I think you need to add to On the Record a career counseling segment, and Charity could come in for career
Yes,
counseling.
Charity again.
Yes.
Charity's channel tomorrow. Talkback WAI Radio. What should Charity be in TV and where and how?
I like it.
We could make this happen.
So you want our listeners to advocate for removing me from the airwaves of WOAI? Is that what you're suggesting,
It's like
Beamer?
that you have an
That's how I heard it.
podcast, you have a TV show. It's like the guy, all the multi.
You'll be a mogul.
people. Yes.
Well, I'm open to anything, but again, I got into radio for television, but I fell in love with radio, and 22 years later, here I am.
Right. It's an honor just to be nominated. I don't think so. I think you still have that dream. Go for the dream.
But I'm old. There's
come
the
on.
gray setting in. I passed my peak, Beamer.
No, see?
You need counseling.
No.
I'll be back tomorrow.
Well, and Randy,
Thank you. She
had,
does need it.
on yesterday's show after the election, you had 1 hour of sleep. Have you slept yet since the election?
Pretty much nonstop, yes. And recovering. And I think a lot of us should after the election.
Yes.
And just kind of
Check
chill.
out, yes.
I want to know your sleeping patterns, Beamer. I mean, are you pretty regimented? Like 9 o'clock at night, you're asleep?
I'm very creative. I try to do something different each and every day. And
You're a napper? You're a napper?
sometimes surprisingly, like right in the middle of the day. I mean, and I don't plan it. I just kind of fall over.
Aren't those the best, though?
Is that apnea or something like
Sleep
that?
apnea, yes.
But you know who actually had that? And it is kind of a serious thing, though. What was funny at the time is Gary DeLon.
Ooh, really?
We would be going out, and we thought it was, and it is, very helpful for a reporter to spend 15 minutes in a truck sleeping.
Yeah.
And so he did. But anyway, I digress.
We love Gary
I
DeLon.
did the weave. I started. I'm going to move back to Charity and the channel. The worst impression ever.
That was
I think
actually not bad.
I think, Charity, you have so many interests outside of radio that you could translate that into TV.
She's already an author.
I think we'll nail
So-
that down tomorrow. We'll come up with whatever that is.
Okay.
I can't
All right.
wait.
And you don't have to. Randy will join us tomorrow. We're looking forward to that. But you don't have to wait for tomorrow. On the record, KLRN, 7:00 tonight. Appointment viewing.
Thank you.
Be
I'm
sure-
going to have to pay you a ton of money after this.
You pay us in beer, Randy.
Yes, we're easy.
Tomorrow I'll bring beer.
We're
Very
easy,
nice.
man.
Very, very cool. All right. Randy Beamer tomorrow. We thank Randy. Thanks to Charlie
Thanks for
Parker
letting me be in here.
as well. We love it. We'll see you tomorrow. We've got Glenn Beck coming at you. Before that, Charity with all the big stories at the top of the hour. Right now, your Sean Hannity Morning Minute, WOAI News Time 8:56.